Wrigley Field in Chicago, Illinois. It's the New York Mets versus the Chicago Cubs in a doubleheader. Rheingold brings you National League Baseball with the New York Mets. Rheingold, New York's best-selling beer. In New York City, where there are 302 different beers, one has made it to the top, Rheingold. Either you have it or you don't, and Rheingold's got it.
New York Mets baseball is also brought to you by Armory Garage, Central at Colvin in Albany. He's out to win you over with the winningest deal of the year on a new Plymouth.
Hi, everybody. This is Ralph Kiner, along with Bob Murphy and Lindsey Nelson from Chicago, and another overcast day. Predictions are rain for the future of the afternoon, but right now we're all set to go to start the first game of this doubleheader. Starting pitchers will be Ferguson Jenkins for the Chicago Cubs, their ace right-hander, and going for the New York Mets, it'll be Jack Fisher. We'll be back with the start of today's game in just one moment. Now, here's a word from Rheingold.
I had $200 in a plane ticket one way to New York, and it all looked like it was just happening, just like I would have wanted it to. But it's a hard town.
No, I think it's a simple town. If you have any qualities at all to offer.
People like new faces, and if they like yours, you're great. If not,
every place I go, they want me to have experience, and I can't get any more experience unless I do get a job, and thus I am stuck.
It's just you've got to know what you're doing. Either you're good or you're not.
And in this town, you can't fake it. You either have it or you don't. Take beer. Take Rheingold. There are 302 beers in the city, but the only one that's made it to the top is Rheingold. You gotta be good to make it in New York. Rheingold makes it. In this town, either you have it or you don't.
Well, the New York Mets yesterday were rained out after the game had gotten to the bottom half of the fourth inning. Mets were in front of that ball game by a score of 3-1. The game has been rescheduled as part of a doubleheader going back to September the 1st. Here in the first game of this doubleheader, the Mets have Jack Fisher warming up. Jack will be going against Ferguson Jenkins, the ace right-hander of the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs have won 26 games. They have lost 24. The Mets have won 17, and they have lost 32. And for the New York Mets, as the umpires come out on the field, the starting lineup. It'll be Bud Harrelson batting first and playing shortstop. Batting second and playing third base, Ed Charles. Batting third and playing left field, Tommy Davis. And Tommy lost his 8th home run in the rainout yesterday, and also a double and 2 big ribbies. Ron Swoboda batting fourth and playing in right field. Batting fifth and playing first base, Ed Kranepool. Batting sixth and playing second base, Jerry Buchek. Batting seventh, the catcher, Hawk Taylor. Batting eighth, the center fielder, Cleon Jones, and the pitcher, Jack Fisher, batting in the ninth position. Now, manager Wes Westrom coming out with his lineup guard. Already out is Ron Santo, the captain of the Chicago Cubs, with his lineup guard. And the Cubs will have Paul Popovich leading off and playing shortstop. Batting second, playing second, Norm Geegan. Batting third and playing left field, Billy Williams. Batting fourth and playing third base, Ron Santo. Batting fifth and playing first base, Ernie Banks. Batting sixth and playing in the catcher's position, Randy Hundley. Batting seventh and playing right field, Ted Savage. Batting eighth in center field, Adolfo Phillips, and the pitcher, Ferguson Jenkins, batting ninth. Originally, manager Leo DeRocher had scheduled Kurt Simmons to pitch in the first ball game, but with the threat of rain, and it's a 70% chance right here in Chicago, he switched to his ace right-hander, Ferguson Jenkins. Ferguson Jenkins had been given permission to come to the ballpark late as he was scheduled for that second ball game. They had to call him at his home and tell him to come out early so he could start in this very first ball game. Mets and Cubs have played 4 games so far this year. Mets have won 2 and the Cubs have won 2. And right here we're getting set for the second and third games of a originally scheduled 4-game series. Cubs won the first ball game. Yesterday, the Mets rained out with a lead of 3-1 in the fourth inning. And now we're getting set to go here in what we hope to be on a day of 2 baseball games. The umpires for the game today, Doug Harvey behind home plate. At first base, John Kibler. At second base, Shag Crawford. At third base, Chris Pellicutis. In the second ball game, the Mets will have Nick Woolheit, who has just joined them. He was traded for Jack Hamilton, going for them. And Kurt Simmons will be the pitcher for the Chicago Cubs. In the National League, Cincinnati in first place. They lead by 3 1/2 games. St. Louis in second. San Francisco's in third, 4 games back. Pittsburgh is in fourth place, 5 1/2 games back. The Cubs in fifth place. They trail by 7 1/2 games. Atlanta, Philadelphia, the Dodgers, Houston, and New York filling out the second division. In the American League, Detroit in first place by 1/2 game over the Chicago White Sox. Baltimore in third, 4 games back. Boston in fourth place, 4 1/2 games back. Minnesota in fifth place. They trail by 5. And the Yankees, Cleveland, Kansas City, California, and Washington filling out the rest of the second division. Ball game results last night in the National League. Cincinnati beat Houston 9-4. Pittsburgh beat Philadelphia 4-3. The Giants beat Atlanta 7-4. And the Chicago Cubs make it the Chicago Cubs and Mets rained out, with the St. Louis Cardinals beating the Dodgers 5-2 in 11 innings. The White Sox whitewashed the Yankees 9-0. Gary Peters pitching a shutout. Washington beat Boston 7-3. Kansas City beat Cleveland 10-1. The Angels beat Detroit 2-0. And Minnesota beat Baltimore 8-1 in the evening game. They had a scheduled day-night doubleheader. The afternoon game was rained out. Now the Chicago Cubs have taken the field. Defensively, Ernie Banks at first base. Norm Geegan is at second base. Paul Popovich at shortstop, and Ron Santo at third. The catcher, Randy Hudley. The outfield, Billy Williams in left, Adolfo Phillips in center field, and Ted Savage in right. And now from Chicago, our national anthem. And with the playing of the national anthem here at Wrigley Field, the sun broke out very brightly. Started out to be a beautiful day here, and the temperature right now is at 76 degrees with a lot of humidity around. It's very heavy, very humid, very warm, with thunder showers reported. They had over 4 inches of rain here yesterday in Chicago. It really came down in sheets. On the Met note paper right here, we have the fact that Tommy Davis is hit safely in his last 9 ball games. He's 11 for 36. And yesterday he had a home run and a double rained out. They didn't count. The records don't count until you have gone into an official game, which has to be either 4.5 or 5 innings. So Tommy lost a home run. Mets will be returning home against the Cincinnati Reds on Tuesday night. And the scheduled pitchers are Bill Dennehy and Tom Seaver for the Mets, playing a twilight doubleheader starting at 5 o'clock. They'll play Wednesday night against Cincinnati, have Thursday off, and then complete the homestand with a weekend series against the Chicago Cubs on Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and a doubleheader on Sunday. If the Mets lose 1 game here today, do not play the doubleheader, they will be held over, and they will play on Monday instead of returning home as planned tonight after the doubleheader. Right now, though, play is about to begin. The sun is out, and here's a fellow who's always bright and cheery, Bob Murphy.
Thank you very much, Ralph, and hi, everybody. And keep your fingers crossed. Let's play 2. Bud Harrelson will lead off against Ferguson Jenkins. The ace right-hander of the Cubs delivers a foul ball back into the screen, strike 1. Fergie Jenkins, 6'5", acquired from the Phillies in a deal made early last year, has established himself as the ace of the Cubs staff. They are talking in glowing terms about Jenkins winning 20 ball games this year. Right now, he has won 7 and lost 3. The pitch to Bud Harrelson, a swing and a foul tip, strike 2. The first time New York came to Chicago this year for a 3-game series, the Mets won the opener of the series 2-1 on brilliant pitching by Tom Seaver. The second game was rained out. In the third game, Jenkins outdueled Jack Fisher, winning 3-0. A ground ball hit toward the middle and on through to center field. A base hit by Bud Harrelson. Bud continues his fine play. Manager Wes Westrom describes Bud Harrelson as a bright, rising, shining young star. When Jenkins shut out New York in late April, he hurled a 3-hitter and struck out 10 men. Bud Harrelson had one of the 3 hits. Larry Stahl, now with Jacksonville, and Al Luplo had the other 2. Randy Hundley going out on the mound to talk to Fergie Jenkins. Jenkins' last outing, he went all the way in beating the Philadelphia Phils. Jenkins was resting at home when he got a phone call from the Cubs saying, "Hurry out. The weatherman is talking about rain. We may play only 1 ball game. You're the ace of the staff, so if we only play 1, we want you to pitch it." Now the pitch on the way. Charles around to bunt didn't offer, and the pitch is outside, ball 1. Weather permitting, in the second ball game, Nick Wilhite will make his debut for New York against left-hander Curt Simmons of Chicago. Ernie Banks holding against Bud Harrelson at first. Now Jenkins off the stretch. There goes the runner, hit and run, a fly ball hit in the air to right field. Under the ball is Ted Savage, and he makes the catch. Harrelson scampers back to first base. The Mets were playing hit and run, but Charles skies to right. 1 out and 1 on, it brings up Tommy Davis. Well, the heavy rains didn't do Tommy Davis any favors yesterday. Tommy had hit a line drive home run, his 8th of the year, his first time up. Had doubled to right field, driving in a run, his 15th double, his second time up. And both were washed off the books by the rain. By the way, before the rain was over last night, in downtown Chicago, they had 5 inches of rain. Compare that with the annual June rainfall for Chicago, which is 4 inches. They got a month's supply plus 1 in one night. Now the pitch on the way, low and outside to Tommy Davis, ball 1. For Chicago, Ernie Banks is at first. Norm Gigon playing second. Glenn Beckert is away doing a 2-week tour of duty in the Army. Paul Popovich is playing short, and Ron Santo is at third. Billy Williams in left field, Adolfo Phillips in center. Around in right field, Ted Savage. The Iron Man in the mask, Randy Hundley behind the plate. And on the mound, Ferguson Jenkins, who has won 7 and lost 3. Yogi Berra coaching at first. A quick throw to first. Not in time, but Bud Harrelson had to lunge quickly. So Salty Parker is on the coaching lines at third. Salty particularly enjoys these visits to Chicago and a chance to get together with his brother, Ace Parker, who was quite an athlete at the University of Illinois, is still active in sports in Joliet. Now Jenkins goes to the rosin bag. Now the stretch by Jenkins, the pitch. Hit in the air to left field by Tommy Davis. Moving in is Billy Williams, and he makes the catch in left center field. 2 outs and 1 on. It brings up the cleanup batter, Ron Swoboda. Ron hitting .253. Ron has only 2 home runs this year. Interestingly enough, both were game-winning blows against top clubs, one against Cincinnati and the other against Pittsburgh. Now the sun breaks through the overcast, and time is taken for a moment while shortstop Paul Popovich and third baseman Ron Santo get the sunglasses. They're talking about the radar weather reports and forecasting the rain showers for around 3:30. Right now, it is just 12:40 in Chicago. So they are confident they will get the first game in. They are worried about the second one. Now the pitch on the way. It is down in the dirt, blocked by Hundley. Harrelson running the throw to second, the slide. He's out. Randy Hundley's strong throw to Norm Gigon. Bud Harrelson, who broke when the ball got by the catcher, Hundley, is thrown out. The ball squirted only about 7 or 8 feet away, and Hundley found it quickly and made the play at second. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, none left. score in the middle of the first, the Mets nothing and the Cubs coming to bat.
Have you heard what's going on at Gulf service stations? It's Big Tire Days at Gulf. Gulf dealers are now featuring outstanding values on all Gulf tires. Including Gulf's new high-performance tire, the Grand Sport. The Gulf Grand Sport has been tested at 130 miles an hour. It's the tire for today's high-performance cars. And remember, when you buy Gulf tires with a Gulf travel card, there's no down payment, no carrying charges, and months to pay. Big Tire Days are going on at Gulf. Get in on them.
Last of inning number one, Chicago will be coming up against Jack Fisher. For those of you who may have missed the results of the major leagues yesterday and last night, the Mets lost a 3-1 lead when the game was rained out in the fourth. Cincinnati, the league leaders, defeated Houston 9-4. The Reds lead the league by 3.5. And the Reds will be in New York for a doubleheader Tuesday night at 5 o'clock at Shea Stadium. Pittsburgh edged Philadelphia 4-3. The Giants beat Atlanta 7-4. And the Cardinals beat the Dodgers 5-2 in 11. A ground ball hit in the right field, a base hit for Paul Popovich, the shortstop and leadoff batter. Popovich hitting the first pitch thrown by Jack Fisher. Paul Popovich playing in his 17th game this year. Shortstop Don Kessinger has not been hitting, and so Leo DeRocher is resting him in the first game today. Now the hitter is Norm Gigon, the second baseman. Jack Fisher endeavoring to snap a 5-game losing streak as he toes the pitching slab against Chicago today. Fisher pitched well his last outing, but lost to the Pirates. Now Fisher checks his runner. He's around to bunt, bunts the ball foul off to the right beyond the reach of Hawk Taylor. In the Dodger-Cardinal game last night, the Cardinals won it in 11 innings on a 3-run homer by Roger Maris. In the American League, the White Sox zipped the Yankees 9-0. Minnesota over Baltimore 8-1. They had a day-night affair. The afternoon game was rained out. Washington 7, the Red Sox 3. Frank Howard homered twice. He now has 14. Kansas City beat Cleveland 10-1. The A's have won 4 in a row. The Angels beat Detroit 2-0. They've won 4 in a row. Now a pitch out, nothing was on. So as we start a busy day in Major League Baseball, in the National League, the Reds lead. The Cardinals in second, 3.5 games out. The Giants in third, 4 games back. In the American League, the Tigers have a half-game lead over the White Sox. The Birds 4 games out, and the Red Sox 4.5. The 1-1 delivery, bunted, and again it is foul. No play, 1-2 on Norm Gigon. Billy Williams, the on-deck batter, and then Ron Santo. Eddie Cranepool holding against the base runner. Eddie was the only change made by Wes Westrom when he learned at the last moment that the Cubs starter would be Jenkins instead of Simmons. The 1-2 delivery. A squibbler hit off the bat down the first baseline. Cranepool up with it. He'll take the play unassisted at first, and moving over to second goes Paul Popovich. Interesting how things happen in this game. Gigon twice had tried to bunt the runner over, was unable to do so. Then he took the full swing and just barely nicked it off the end of the bat. It looked almost like a bunt going down the first baseline. And it moved the runner. Billy Williams is hitting .316. He has 10 home runs and 31 runs batted in. No score. Now Jack Fisher up in pitching position. Delivers to Billy Williams, and it's inside and low, ball 1. Fisher has a lifetime record against Chicago of 5 wins and 8 losses. He was the losing pitcher back on the 27th of April here at Chicago when he dueled Ferguson Jenkins. The Cubs won the ball game 3-0. The Mets have beaten the Cubs twice this year in 4 ball games, and both wins have gone to Tom Seaver. Now a pickoff attempt to throw to second, not in time, as Harrelson darts in to take the peg. Tom Seaver returns to the starting rotation Tuesday night at Shea, along with Bill Dennehy, against Gary Nolan and Billy McCool of Cincinnati. Now Fisher steps off, holding the runner, as Harrelson makes a run on him. Foul ball back toward the crowd and out of play. Billy Williams of the Cubs, Leon Jones' wife, are cousins. Billy is now an 8-year veteran. After a slow start last year, he got going, and he wound up hitting 29 home runs and driving in 91 runs. The 1-1 delivery, fastball high, 2-1 on Billy Williams. The last 6 years with the Chicago Cubs, Billy Williams has been over 20 home runs. Year before last, he had 34, that's his best, and he knocked in 108 runs, that's his best figure. The 2-1 pitch. Under the knees, ball 3, 3-1. Billy hails from Whistler, Alabama, and after 8 years, he has a Major League batting average of .293. Ron Santo is the on-deck batter. Fisher behind of the count, delivers 3-1. Ball 4, it's outside. Williams reaches on a walk, and it brings up Santo. Ron Santo, brilliant Cub third baseman. Batting .236, far below his lifetime batting average. But slugging-wise and with RBIs, he's right up there where you'd expect him to be. He has 7 home runs and 30 runs batted in. Santo, right-hand batter, stands well back from the plate, feet close together. Cocks the bat off the right shoulder and hits the ball hard up the middle for a base hit. Popovich around third will come in to score. Billy Williams is racing to third, and Santo's on with a run-scoring single. Cubs lead 1-0. Now Ernie Banks. His 9th inning base hit won the opening game of this series as the Cubs rallied. They were trailing 5-3 going to the bottom of the 8th inning. They tied the game in the last of the 8th. They won it in the bottom half of the 9th inning, and it was Banks who broke it up. Banks has 8 home runs and 27 runs batted in. Grand veteran is hitting .303. That's with the infield hoping for a shot at the twin killing. And Buchek is shaded toward second. The outfield is deep and around toward left. Fisher off the stretch. Here's the pitch on the way. Low and outside, it's ball 1. Time as Wes Westrom races toward the mound to talk to Jack Fisher. Randy Hundley is the on-deck batter. Before the game today, Wes had a lengthy conference with Jack LeMabe in his office and was assured by Jack LeMabe that, if needed, LeMabe is ready to return to action as a long man in the bullpen. Jack has been sidelined with a muscle pull in the groin. Now Wes returns to the dugout. 1 ball and no strikes to Banks. Down comes the pitch. And a changeup is on the inside corner, a strike, 1-1. Joey Amalfitano is coaching at first base, and Pete Razor is on the lines at third. The 1-1 pitch to Ernie. Breaking ball, he lays off. It's outside and low, 2-1. Jack Fisher trying to extricate himself from a difficult jam here in the opening inning. Now the pitch to Banks, and again he takes inside, ball 3. Now Fisher behind on a tough hitter, 3-1. Mets return to New York after this series. The Cubs will have a series with the Dodgers coming up. Now we're going to get warm-up action in the Mets bullpen, and Dick Selma will start getting ready. Ground ball hit to third, off the glove of Charles, a base hit. Williams is in to score. Sano racing for third. They may get him to slide. He is out at third base. Bud Harrelson to Ed Charles. Good hustling on the part of Bud Harrelson. The batter, Banks, hit down on the ball. It struck the dirt and near the plate toward the third base line. Took a long, high hop. Charles tried to go over his head and handle it. Just touched the ball with the fingertips of the glove. It rolled down the left field line, and Harrelson turned on the speed and went after it. Sano tried to go from first to third, and Harrelson's peg to Charles got Sano. 2 runs are in. The Cubs lead 2-0. A base hit for Ernie Banks. Now there are 2 away, and the batter is Randy Hundley. Hundley hitting .279. Right-hand hitter hits the ball hard down to third. Charles up with it. Pegs to Buchek. The side is out. But the Cubs get off to a quick start, scoring 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors, 1 left on. And at the end of 1, the score, the Chicago Cubs 2 and the New York Mets nothing. Ralph?
Well, the Mets return home after the doubleheader here today and start up against the Cincinnati Reds on Tuesday night. They'll be playing their first twilight doubleheader of the season at Shea Stadium. Game time will be at 5 o'clock, and it's against the league-leading Cincinnati Reds. And, of course, if you can't make it out to the ballpark, we hope you're with us on radio. And to make your radio listening a little bit more enjoyable, we'd like to suggest to you to pick up a revised edition of the 1967 Mets Yearbook. It's now available. In addition to the features of the first edition, it includes candid pictures of opening day, pictures and playing records of Jerry Buchek, Ed Charles, Bob Johnson, as well as all the other Mets. To get your copy by mail, send 65 cents, 50 cents for the yearbook and 15 cents for the handling charges, to Met Yearbook, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York. The zip is 11368. That's Met Yearbook, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York, zip 11368.
Now we go to the second inning, and Ron Swoboda will be leading off against Ferguson Jenkins. Ron was hitting when Bud Harrelson was tossed out at second on a short pass ball. Ball got away from Randy Hundley. Bud thought he could make it, but was nailed. Sun has broken through the overcast. Ron hitting .253. New York will have Ron Swoboda, Eddie Kranepool, and Jerry Buchek coming up against the 6'5" hard-throwing right-hander Ferguson Jenkins. Jenkins is from Chatham, Ontario. Now the pitch to Ron, a swing and a miss on a fastball, strike 1. He had a real good cut at that. Ferguson Jenkins has already won more games this year than he won all last year. A ground ball hammered to shortstop, fielded by Paul Popovich. The long peg to Banks is in time to get Ron Swoboda. 1 up and 1 set aside. It'll bring up Eddie Kranepool. Eddie hitting .312, has 3 home runs and 15 runs batted in. The wind favors the right-hand hitters this afternoon, blowing across toward left field. The windup by Jenkins, the pitch to Eddie, foul ball whacked back up toward the crowd on the left side, and no play, strike 1. Baseball interest has been revivified by Leo DeRocher with the Cubs this year at Wrigley Field. And the fans on the near north side of Chicago have had more to cheer about so far this year than in a long time. Ground ball bounced slowly. Coming in is the second baseman, Norm Gigon. He whips the ball to Banks, 2 down. 2 up and 2 quickly set aside by Ferguson Jenkins, and now it brings up Jerry Buchek. You'll recall it was early last year, after Leo had taken over the reins of the Cubs. He wasted little time in deciding he wanted a youth movement. He wanted to try and make a move with young ball players who had a chance, who had a future. The Cubs went on the market to deal veterans for youngsters with promise. They made a deal with Philadelphia, giving up Bob Buell and Larry Jackson. Under the knees is ball 1. In return, they got Ferguson Jenkins and Adolfo Phillips. Neither one did very much last year, but both are off to a sensational start this year. Low and away, ball 2. Ralph, I remember at the time that trade was made, there were many people around the National League who thought that would win the flag for Philadelphia.
Well, it takes a lot of time for trades to be actually analyzed completely, and at that time, the Phillies were very happy to get 2 good pitchers.
2-0 delivery. Under the knee is ball 3. It was a case where the Phillies thought they could win the pennant. They were willing to give up a couple of youngsters to try and nail down a flag. The Cubs knew they weren't going to win any pennant. They were building for the future. 3-0 delivery, and it's at the knees for a strike, 3-1. Earlier, they had made a similar deal with the Giants, giving up veteran Lindy McDaniel for Bill Hands, young right-hand pitcher, and catcher Randy Hundley. And what a deal that's been. Randy Hundley had a marvelous rookie year. It looks like he's going to be one of the top backstops in the National League. The 3-1 delivery. Under the knees, ball 4, and Buchek reaches on a walk. Right here we pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
This is WGY, a General Electric Broadcasting Company station, Schenectady.
Bob Murphy with Ralph Kiner and Lindsey Nelson from Wrigley Field in Chicago. The Cubs lead New York 2-0. We're in the top of the second. First game of a doubleheader. There are 7 doubleheaders in the major leagues today. Now Jenkins eyes the runner, and the pitch to the Hawk. Outside is ball 1. Hawk has 2 hits and 8 times at bat since coming back from Jacksonville, where he was hitting the ball very well. Now the pitch on the way, a foul ball back into the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hawk Taylor is certainly one of the grandest guys and most popular players with the teammates the Mets have ever had. The 1-1 delivery. And it's on the outside corner for a call strike. 1-2. Jenkins has good stuff. He throws hard. And he usually, when he's having a good ball game, will notch a lot of strikeouts. The 1-2 delivery. Swing and a miss. He got him. There's his first. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on. At the end of an inning and a half, the Cubs 2 and the New York Mets nothing.
Let Armory Garage Central at Colvin in Albany put your family on the road vacation bound in a top-quality tested used car. If you've been putting off that family trip because you're worried about the safety of your present car, drive into Armory Garage's used car lot and leave your worries behind. At Armory, you'll find hundreds of top-condition used cars, one just right for your family. Choose from sedans, hardtops, and wagons, road-tested and ready to go. Sales manager Art Neat will give you the green light on a payment plan tailor-made just for your vacation budget. He'll arrange for you to buy, sign, and pay at Armory, where the first payment won't be due until August. So get out those travel folders and road maps and make your first vacation stop Armory Garage, Central at Colvin, Albany. And then head for your favorite vacation spot, trouble-free in a top-quality used car from Armory. Happy vacation.
Now the home half of the second. Right fielder Ted Savage leads off against Jack Fisher. Jack gave up 2 runs, 3 hits, and walked the batter in the first inning. Ron Santo and Ernie Banks each driving in a run, and the Cubs lead 2-0. Ted Savage batting .216 on 8 for 37 since joining Chicago from the St. Louis Cardinals. Off-speed pitch, a strike on the outside corner. Fisher had a similar start in his last game against Pittsburgh. He gave up 2 runs early and then settled down and pitched well. Unfortunately, the Mets were shut out. And a curve on the outside corner for a call strike. Nobody on, nobody out, last half of the second. They play Savage, right-hand power hitter, to pull the ball. A swing and a miss. He got him on a fastball. An off-speed pitch, a breaking ball, and a fastball, and Savage is out. Now Adolfo Phillips, the center fielder, coming up. He is becoming quite a favorite with the Cub fans. Batting 8th in the order, he has 30 runs batted in. Has hit 7 home runs, and Adolfo is hitting .294. He has about as much speed as anybody. That's right-handed. And he hits one high and deep to left center field that is going gone. Home run of the year for Adolfo Phillips, and that was quite a drive. Leon Jones and Tommy Davis had nothing else to do but just to turn and look and admire that one. It was high over the ivy-covered wall in left center at the 368 mark and up in the back of the bleachers. Cubs 3, Mets nothing. Now Ferguson Jenkins hitting. Fisher out of his windup. The pitch, a swing and a miss, and a high hard one, strike 1. Leo DeRocher has kept Adolfo Phillips down at the bottom of the batting order to keep pressure off of him, and also as kind of a second cleanup hitter. Foul ball hit deep down the right field line and out of play. It certainly has worked handsomely so far. Adolfo now has 31 runs batted in. That was his 8th home run. Now the windup by Fisher, the 2-strike pitch. A ground ball hit the third. Over in the hole is Harrelson. He grabs it, throws to first in time for the out. Beyond the reach of Charles and handled by Bud Harrelson. 2 outs and nobody on. It'll bring up the leadoff batter, Paul Popovich, playing shortstop. Popovich singled to right field and later scored at the opening inning. Popovich has been filling in at second and short. Cubs lead 3-0. We're in the last of the second, and this is the first game of 2. A little bit early for the baseball action yet today. Fouled off, hit to the left, no play. However, it's going to be a very busy day with 7 doubleheaders. They're playing 2 at Cincinnati. The Reds lead Houston 2-1 at the end of 3. Cuellar against Pappas. Dodgers and Cardinals will play 2 at St. Louis. It'll be Singer against Washburn in the first game. Now Fisher out of his windup. The pitch to Popovich, outside and high, 1 ball, 1 strike. The Giants play the Braves at Atlanta. Marichal against LeMaster. That should be a good one. Marichal is 9-4, and Denny LeMaster 6-1. Philadelphia at Pittsburgh. Bunning against Pizarro. The 1-1 pitch, grounded foul down the first baseline toward Joey Amalfitano. Doubleheader at Fenway Park. Washington won on a home run by Paul Casanova. Boston nothing after 3.5. Ortega against Brandon. Baltimore at Minnesota, a doubleheader being held up because of rain. White Sox won, the Yankees nothing after 2.5 at the stadium. O'Toole against Stottlemyre. That's all that's in the American League right now. And the breaking ball in the dirt, it's 2-2. Detroit will play at California. The Angels have righted themselves and won 4 in a row, and they've had 2 straight shutouts. Cleveland at Kansas City, where Alvin Dark's Kansas City A's have won 4 straight. Now Popovich checks on the swing, and it's inside at low, 3-2. One run in on the home run, the 8th of the year, by Adolfo Phillips. And Chicago leading 3-0. We're in the second. Here's the payoff delivery by Jack Fisher. A line drive hit hard to right center, a base hit. And the ball breaks by Ron Swoboda. Popovich now goes into second base. No error on the play. It'll be scored. A double to right center for Paul Popovich. Now Dick Selma gets the call in the New York bullpen to get ready. Fisher has been hit hard by Chicago. The batter is Norm Gigon. Gigon, right-hand batter, the second baseman, hitting second in the order. Here's the pitch by Fisher. Low and away, it's ball 1. Brown knocked the ball down on the first hop on that base hit to right center. Had to go back only a couple of steps to pick it up, and so he scored a double for Paul Popovich. He now is 2 for 2. Now the pitch on the way. A grounder whacked towards short. Cut off by Ed Charles on a nice play. Throw to first is in time, and the side is out. Good play by Ed Charles. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, 1 left on. And at the end of 2 innings here at Wrigley Field, the Chicago Cubs 3 and the New York Mets nothing.
Another bright idea from the folks who care. Tobin's First Prize Frankfurts, not served with, but baked with macaroni and cheese. Prepare your macaroni and cheese as usual. Bake in a shallow pan, but about 15 minutes before it's done, top with tomato slices and First Prize Frankfurts sliced lengthwise. Finish baking till those First Prize Frankfurts are golden brown. Your family will...
Here at Wrigley Field. Now New York will be coming up against Ferguson Jenkins, and coming up to follow the action for you, Ralph Kiner.
Thank you, Bob, and hi, everyone. Cleon Jones will be the first batter for the Mets. We're in the top of the third. Cleon batting for the first time, the 8th batter in the batting order, and he's hitting at 167. On the mound, Ferguson Jenkins, and the first pitch is swung on a miss, strike 1. Cleon going for a high fastball with a hard swing and a miss. Jenkins has given up 1 base hit, a single by Bud Harrelson. He has walked 1, and he has struck out 1. Fergie with a record of 7-3 this year. It'll be Cleon Jones, the pitcher Jack Fisher, and Bud Harrelson for the New York Mets here in the top of the third. Next pitch is grounded off the end of the bat to the right side. It's strike 2. Ball going into the Mets dugout. The dugouts here at Wrigley Field are located far away from home plate. In fact, the furthest away of any dugout in the National League. They are actually about even with first base and third base. .353 down the right field line, .355 down the left field line, 400 feet in center field. Now the pitch back just outside, a slider, and the count 1-2. It's .368 in right center and .368 in left center here. And here in Wrigley Field, right directly down the lines for about 40 feet from the foul pole, a well that carries back in just a little bit deeper than the left and right field areas. Now a ground ball back to Ferguson Jenkins. He makes his catch on 1 hop and underhands to first base for the out. Cleon Jones sent back, and now the batter will be Jack Fisher. Jack is looking to the dugout, and the Mets are going for a pinch hitter. They have Dick Selma warming up in the bullpen, and it's going to be Johnny Lewis coming up to bat for Jack Fisher. Say, look for the Rheingold Chug-a-Mug special display at your local stores in New York and New Jersey. The Chug-a-Mug looks and sounds just like what it is. A good thirst-quenching drink of beer. 12 ounces of Rheingold Extra Dry, and you can drink it right from the mug. Johnny Lewis coming up. Johnny's batting 125. He's had 4 hits and 32 times up with 2 runs batted in. Fisher going out to pitch a record on the losing side. The Cubs lead 3-0. Jack working 2 innings, giving up 5 hits and 3 runs. First pitch is low and away, a fastball. It's ball 1. And Ferguson back low with a breaking ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. On deck batter, Bud Harrelson. Wind blowing out from right to left. Next pitch. On in, and the count now 2 balls, 1 strike. Next delivery popped up. Ball going out of play on the third base side into the stands. The count 2 balls, 2 strikes. Wrigley Field, a 2-deck ballpark. They first played a ball game here back in 1916. Seats right around 47,000 people. 2-2 pitch. Fouled off again. Biggest crowd ever to see a ball game here in Chicago was a Sunday doubleheader that I had the good fortune of playing in back on May 31st, 1948. 46,965 people.
Where'd they put them all?
They had them stacked pretty tight. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and it's just outside, ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Best seasons of attendance they've ever had here at Wrigley Field, 1,485,166, and they drew that back in 1929. So you can tell this was a pretty good baseball town all the way back. Now the next pitch over the outside corner. So Johnny Lewis is called out on strike. On the 3-2 pitch, the pinch hitter going down for the second out. That'll bring up Bud Harrelson batting for the second time. He has the only base hit off Ferguson Jenkins. Single through the middle. '29 was the year that Hack Wilson had one of his great years. First pitch to Bud Harrelson, a fastball over, strike 1. Bud batting .241. This is his 46th ball game. He has had 35 hits. Now a curve bounced in the dirt, hit about 5 feet in front of home plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cubs have won 16 National League championships. Their last one was back in 1945. They have not been in the first division since 1946. Giants have won 18 championships to top the Cubs. Cubs have never won a World Series. Now at 1-1, the pitch back grounded out toward third base in foul territory. Ron Santo makes the grab. Keeps the ball in foul territory, and it'll go as a strike. 1-2. Dick Selma has completed his warm-up pitches, and now he's coming in toward the dugout. He'll be the next pitcher in the ball game for the Mets. Cubs are leading 3-0. The Mets going for a pinch hitter, and their starter Jack Fisher taken out. Jack came into the ball game today with a record of 3-7, the reverse of Ferguson Jenkins. Now the right-hander, big, tall, strong-looking right-hander. Jenkins taking a long reading on the signs by Randy Hundley. 1-2. And the pitch. Curveball swung on a miss, strike 3. Second and third strikeouts in the inning for Jenkins. He retired the side in order, and the score at the end of 2.5 innings, the Cubs 3, the Mets nothing. Now here's the word from Rheingold.
That's Eddie Beale, captain, New York Fire Department. What brought him here?
I remember Eddie. He used to shine shoes right here in this corner, and he really hustled. Didn't think he'd ever be a fireman, though.
Oh, this one was taken right after we were married. You can see he was a rookie then, and I was so proud of him then.
He saved my life. He saved my wife and my life. He pulled us both out of a fire. He's really a good fireman.
He's got to be good to make it in New York. He can't fake it. That's true of anything. There are 302 different brands of beer trying to make it in this town today. But the only one that's made it to the top is Rheingold. Rheingold. In this town, either you have it or you don't.
Bottom half of the third, the Cubs coming up as they lead 3-0, and the Mets with Dick Selma in the ball game in place of Jack Fisher. Jack going 2 innings, gave up 3 runs, allowed 5 base hits. He struck out 1 and walked 1. Selma's first man will be Billy Williams, followed by Ron Santo and then Ernie Banks. So Dick has a job cut out for him as he completes his warm-up pitches. This is Selma's third ball game, his second in relief. He has no record. He has worked 7 innings. He has given up 5 hits, struck out 5, walked 3, and has given up 2 runs. Williams walked his first time up. That keeps his average at .316, and he fouls the first pitch off down the third base side into the stands and strike 1. Williams with 10 home runs and 31 runs batted in. He has scored 33 runs this year in 50 ball games. The last 3 seasons, he has scored at least 100 runs. Now the next pitch back is inside, so the count 1-1. Selma's 2 other appearances have been against the Giants in Pittsburgh. Went 6 innings against the Giants in the start, gave up 5 hits, and was taken out because he had not pitched that long all year long. And the pitch back, a hard pitch down low, and it's 2-1. At Jacksonville, he was 2-3 and had worked only in relief. Called up by the Mets right near the 1st of June. Here's the 2-1 delivery. Hit off the hands down towards second base. Jerry Buchek slides to his right, comes up with the ball, and the Mets have their first out as Buchek goes to first base. That'll bring up Ron Santo. Ron saw 1 pitch his first time up against Jack Fisher and singled to center field and drove in a run. Santo now with 31 runs batted in. He's tied with Adolfo Phillips and Billy Williams for the club lead. Ron batting at .240. Right-hand batter, and the first pitch, a curveball down low. It's ball 1. Santo holds the club record for consecutive games in which he has picked up at least 1 hit. Total of 28. Now the 1-0 pitch. Hit off the end of the bat down to second base. Jerry Buchek again up with the ball. And his second assist gives the Mets their second out. And now the batter will be Ernie Banks. Santo broke a record held by Hack Wilson of 27 consecutive games in which he had at least a base hit. That was set back in 1929. What makes Santo's record even more remarkable was that he was out of the lineup for 5 days after being hit in the side of the face by Jack Fisher and after having his cheekbone broken. He came back to extend the streak all the way to 28. First pitch to Ernie Banks. It's in the dirt, goes on by Hawk Taylor. It's ball 1. Ernie bounced a base hit off the glove of Ed Charles down the third base side his first time up to drive in a run. Charles made a great play in the ball to knock it down, keep it from going for 2. There's one hit back through the middle. It's through into center field for a hit. So Banks, batting to 307, picks up another base hit. He is now 2 for 2, and with 2 men out, the batter will be the catcher, Randy Huntley. Cubs now with 6 hits. They lead by a score of 3-0. Huntley ended the first inning when he hit into a force play. His average at 277 with 5 home runs. Right-hand batter, he had 19 home runs his first season in the majors. Now almost a wild pitch as Hock Taylor makes a one-hand grab of a high inside fastball. Ball 1. The 19 home runs by Huntley set a major league record for home runs by a rookie. By a rookie catcher. One ball, no strikes. Banks at first with a short lead. Moves back now as Selma steps off the pitching rubber. Now Selma sets up again on top, and the pitch to the plate. Breaking ball fouled off. 1 ball, 1 strike. The end of 3.5 innings. The White Sox 2, the Yankees 1. At the end of 4, Cincinnati 2, Houston 1. At the end of 1.5 innings, Philadelphia 6, Pittsburgh nothing. Phillies getting 6 runs in the top of the first. Breaking ball too low, and the count 2 balls, 1 strike. At the end of 4.5 innings, Washington 3, Boston nothing. All the games in progress right now. Home run by Frank Howard in the 5th with a man on. It's Washington 3, Boston nothing. A home run coming in the 5th. Ground ball down to third. A long throw to first base. It is just in time. And Randy Huntley is thrown out by Ed Charles by a tap-tap play. That retires the side. No runs, 1 hit. No errors and 1 man left on. And the score at the end of 3 innings, the Cubs 3, the Mets nothing.
Following today's doubleheader, the New York Mets return from their longest road trip of the year, and they'll open an entertaining homestand on Tuesday night with the first twilight doubleheader of the home season, and Dave Bristol's league-leading Cincinnati Reds will be the opposition. A doubleheader with Cincinnati Tuesday night at 5 p.m. Under the lights and shade Wednesday night against Cincinnati. The Cubs in for a 4-game weekend set Friday, Saturday afternoon, and 2 on Sunday. Tickets are on sale at the advance sale window at Shea Stadium until 5 p.m. today and tomorrow for your added convenience, as well as every day through the week. Mets tickets are also on sale in Midtown Manhattan at Grand Central Station at the foot of the 42nd Street and Vanderbilt Avenue ramp. Open during the week from 8 to 6 and on Saturday 8:30 to 4. You can also buy Mets tickets for all future home games at Macy's Big Store at 34th Street and 7th Avenue on the Main Street floor. Mets tickets are also on sale at Macy's in the Walt Whitman Shopping Center, Huntington, Long Island. In addition, reservations for box and reserve seats may be made at all Howard Clothes stores during regular store hours and also at any branch of the Manufacturers Hanover Trust Company during banking hours. Tickets can be obtained by mail by writing Ticket Manager, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York. The zip code is 11368. Be sure to add 25 cents to cover mailing costs. 4th inning, and here's Ralph Kiner.
Thank you, Bob Murphy. And the first batter for the Mets, Ed Charles, steps up. Ed on a hit-and-run play, flat out to right field his first time up. And now he lines one right through the middle. Ferguson Jenkins goes down to the mound to get out of the way. And that ball right on through in the center field for a base hit. Jenkins went down like a shot. He's up now. None the worse for the dive, and Ed Charles has the Mets' second base hit. That'll bring up Tommy Davis, who flied out to left field his first time up. Mets are trailing 3-0. The Cubs getting 2 runs in the first and 1 run in the second off Jack Fisher, the starting pitcher. Jenkins giving up no runs and 2 hits now as Tommy Davis steps in. Tommy brought a 9-game hitting streak into the ball game. His average at .319. Jenkins going off the pitching rubber to wipe off his hand on the grass. Evidently, he got too much dirt on it when he hit the dirt when that line drive went through the mound. Now he's back on top. Tommy Davis with 7 home runs and 24 runs batted on. And the first pitch is fouled off the end of the bat. It's strike one. Ball rolling off to the right side. Ron Swoboda on deck. One strike count. Jenkins sets up, and the pitch to the plate is hit deep to left. Kiss it goodbye. If it's fair, it's gone. And it is a home run. Tommy Davis, who lost a home run yesterday when the Mets were rained out, has now picked up his 8th home run of the year. And the Mets have their first 2 runs on a tremendous drive that was fair, just fair, right down the left field line. It went over the back wall, leaving the ballpark at the 3:55 mark. So Tommy continues his hitting. He has hit now in 10 consecutive ball games, and the Mets are back in this one. Cubs leading now by a 1-run margin, and the batter coming up is Ron Swoboda. Ron grounded out to short his first time up, and he takes the first pitch, ball 1. Tommy's home run in that rained-out game that didn't count was a line shot over that back screen, too. No doubt about it. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Grounded out to third. Ron Santo takes a half hop, makes a good play on it, throws to first base for the out. Now with 1 away, the batter coming up will be Ed Kranepool. Tommy's last home run was against Ray Culp here at Chicago in the first game of this series. Prior to that, he had 2 against Atlanta, 1 against St. Louis, 2 against Cincinnati, and his very first game here at Chicago on April 20th against Curt Simmons. First pitch to Ed Kranepool, a swing and a foul tip at strike 1. Ed hit down to second base his first time up. Ed batting .310. He was not scheduled to start. They were going with Curt Simmons. Now the next pitch outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. But when Leo DeRocha heard about the possible chance of rain later on this afternoon, he switched his starting pitchers and went for Ferguson Jenkins, the right-hander, in place of Curt Simmons. Now a ground ball in the hole. It goes out through into right field for a base hit. Ed Kranepool rounds at first base and holds there. So the time run is at first base with 1 man out here in the top of the 4th. And the batter coming up, Jerry Buchek. Buchek walked on a 3-1 pitch his first time up. His average at .259. He has 6 home runs, has driven in 15. And Jenkins with his first pitch. It's taken over, a called strike. Cubs leading 3-2. The Mets with the time run at first base. 1 out, we're in the top of the 4th. In that rained-out game yesterday, the Mets were out in front 3-1 in the 4th. And the pitch back, swung on and missed. So Jenkins now out in front with an 0-2 count. Kranepool with a short lead at first base. Jenkins checks him. Now comes back to the plate, and the pitch is a breaking ball outside. 1-2. Right now, the sky's overcast, the wind blowing from right to left. Earlier, at the start of the ball game, we had some sunshine. Weather report is 70% on the possibility of rain later on this afternoon. Now the pitch, and this one is outside. So 2 away. And the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jenkins missing with breaking balls after picking up a 2-strike count. Ernie Banks at first base, holding against Cranepool, who again has a short lead. And the pitch. Breaking ball too far outside, ball 3, and that puts the count at 3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 man out. Buchek checking with Salty Parker, the third base coach. Cranepool also checking him out. Buchek strikes out a lot. A little bit risky to send the runner. Throw to first base, Cranepool back without any difficulty. Buchek has struck out 31 times in 40 ball games. Now at 3-2, the runner does not go. A swing and a foul out of play. So the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes, and we'll pause now for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
This is WJRZ Hackensack.
Hurry, hurry, hurry to the circus of value-rated tested used cars, now on display at Armory Garage.
And Lindsey Nelson from Chicago. 3-2. The Mets have the time run at first, and the 3-2 pitch is fouled off again. So Jerry Buchek fouling the ball up, and Ernie Banks coming over to make a catch by the stand. Cranepool stays at first. 2 men away, and the batter coming up is Hawk Taylor. Taylor struck out his first time up. Right-hand batter, he's been at bat 9 times, had 2 hits. And Jenkins with the first pitch. It's down low, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Cubs 3, the Mets 2. 2 men out, top of the 4th. Taylor was batting at 285 at Jacksonville before his recall. Now he takes low again. It's ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Taylor, originally a $100,000 bonus player, signed by the Milwaukee Braves. Two balls, no strikes. Cranepool at first. And the pitch. Deep to left field. It's going back, way back. And looking at it is Billy Williams. He jumps. The ball is over the top of his hands and off of the wall. Cranepool comes around third and goes on into home plate and scores the tying run. And Hawk Taylor goes down to second base and holds there. So Hawk Taylor with a double high off the wall, missing a home run by about a foot or two, tying up the ball game. The 2-base hit, his second. He has had 3 hits with the Mets now. And the batter coming up with a go-ahead run at second base is Cleon Jones. Cleon grounded back to the pitcher his first time up, batting 167. Mets with 3 runs in. Now they're going to put the Cleon Jones, the batter, on at first base with an intentional pass, and the first pitch is outside, ball 1. The batter scheduled up is Dick Selma. Next pitch back is ball 2. Now ball 3. And ball 4, and Cleon Jones goes down to first base. That puts runners at first and second with 2 men out here in the 4th and brings up Dick Selma. Dick is a right-hand batter. Selma has been at bat 2 times. He is 0 for 2. He is not a bad hitter. And Jenkins with runners at first and second with the first pitch. It's grounded out foul. Ball bouncing up and hitting Selma in the batter's box, and the count strike 1. Mets have tied it up with 3 runs here in the top of the 4th. Ed Charles led off with a single. Tommy Davis then hit a long home run right down the left field line to give the Mets their first 2 runs. Cranepool singled to right field, and he scored on the double by Hawk Taylor. Taylor now at second base with Cleon Jones at first. Jenkins checks and comes to the plate. And the pitch is swung on a miss. A slider. Strike two. Cal Kuntz is now starting to warm up in the bullpen for Chicago. 2-strike count. And Jenkins back. And the pitch is swung on a miss. Strike three. So the fourth strikeout of the ball game. A big one for Ferguson Jenkins. That retires the side, but the Mets scored 3 runs on 4 hits. There were no errors and 2 men left on. And the score at the end of 3.5 innings, the Mets 3, the Cubs 3.
Hurry, hurry, hurry to the circus of value-rated tested used cars, now on display at Armory Garage, central at Colvin in Albany. Ringmaster Art Neat is putting on the biggest used car show of the year. At used car headquarters this week are Bonnevilles, Mustangs, 300s, Barracudas, Impalas, Furies, and the spectacular Crowns and DeVilles. You'll cheer at the lowest prices ever on these mint-condition beat beauties that are ready to roll. At Armory, the selection is so great you'll probably find the right car at the right price on your first visit. And if by any chance you didn't stop in again and check the stock, there are new arrivals daily. You can buy, sign, and pay at Armory, home of 101 time payment plans. Take years to pay. In fact, the first payment won't be due until August. Hop on the bandwagon and drive into Armory Garage, central at Colvin in Albany. Hurry, hurry, hurry.
A brand new ball game in the hand of Dick Selma is on the ball now, and he is warming up. It'll be Dick Selma's game right now, along with Ferguson Jenkins. Jack Fisher, the starting pitcher, is off the hook. Jack went 2 innings, was charged with 3 runs. Selma will be pitching to the 7th, 8th, and 9th batters of the Cubs. Ted Savage, Adolfo Phillips, and Ferguson Jenkins here. Dick came in the ball game in the 3rd, gave up a base hit to Ernie Banks, and pitching to 4 batters. Savage batting .211. Struck out on 3 pitches his first time up. That was against Jack Fisher. At the end of 4.5 innings, Houston 3, Cincinnati 2. Houston with 2 runs in the top of the 5th to take the lead. And the first pitch by Selma to Savage, a breaking ball outside, ball 1. Mike Cuellar is pitching for the Astros in that ball game. His record 6-2. Milt Pappas was the starter for Cincinnati. He has been relieved by Arrigo in the 5th inning. Houston scheduled for 2 games at Cincinnati. The Mets play Cincinnati when they return home Tuesday night. A twilight doubleheader, game time at 5 o'clock. Tom Seaver and Bill Dennehy, 2 of the Mets' new young pitchers with good stuff going for the Mets. Here's the 1-0 pitch. High pop-up in foul territory. Coming back is Hawk Taylor. He has some room, and he makes the catch. 1 away in the bottom half of the 4th. The batter now coming up, Adolfo Phillips, who had his 8th home run his first time up. Phillips batting .299. At the end of 1, San Francisco nothing, Atlanta nothing. Juan Marichal going for the Giants, his record 9-4. Denver LeMaster going for Atlanta, 6-1. That should be quite a pitching duo. Last year in Atlanta, Sandy Koufax and LeMaster hooked up twice in tremendous duels, each winning 1 game 2-1. At the end of 1/2 inning, the Dodgers won, St. Louis nothing. Bill Singer going for the Dodgers against Ray Washburn. Now time is called as Hawk Taylor talks with Dick Selma out in front of the pitching mound. At the end of 2, Philadelphia 6, Pittsburgh nothing. Jim Bunning pitching for Philadelphia. Pizarro started, was knocked out. Fryman came in the 1st. Now Vernon Law's in that ball game. He came in the ball game in the 3rd. Now Selma is all set to go, and the first pitch is inside over the inside corner, a called strike. In the American League, after 5.5 innings, Washington 3, Boston nothing. Frank Howard's home run giving Washington their 2nd and 3rd runs. Ortega going for Washington, Brandon pitching for Boston. Howard now has 15 home runs. And the pitch back to the plate is inside. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Baltimore, Minnesota delayed because of rain. They are scheduled for 2. And at 1-1, Selma back to Phillips. The ball grounded foul. Right on by Pete Breezer, the third base coach. The count goes to 1-2. At the end of 4.5 innings, the White Sox 2, the Yankees 1. Jim O'Toole pitching for Chicago. Mel Stottlemyre going for the Yankees. Starting pitchers, Cleveland at Kansas City. Louis Tiant going for the Indians. Diego Segui going for Kansas City. 1-2, and Selma now back to Phillips. And the pitch is swung on and missed, strike 3. Selma getting his first strikeout on a curveball. And with 2 men out, the batter coming up is Ferguson Jenkins. Fergie, a right-hand batter, and he made quite an impression in his very first game for the Cubs last year after coming over from Philadelphia. In his first ball game, he stopped a 6-game losing streak as he beat the Dodgers. And in the ball game, he had a home run and a single. First pitch is down low. It's ball 1. He finished last season very strongly. He won 6 of his last 9 starts. And he has started off well here this year. He has won 7 and lost 3. Now the next pitch low, and it's ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. So in his last 19 games, 19 decisions, he has won 13 and lost 6. Consistency, that's what you look for. Big, strong right-hander. Here's the 2-0 pitch by Selma. It's grounded on a check swing back to the mound. Selma moves back to the mound to take it in 1 hop. Has plenty of time, and he goes to first base to retire the side in order. And the score through 4, the Mets 3, the Cubs 3.
Of your own free will, would you ever endanger your family's life? The answer has to be no. And yet you may be doing it every time you step into your car. Face it, worn tires, brakes that need relining, and wheels that need alignment are all factors that could cause a bad, if not a fatal, accident. Don't you think it's time you took the time to see Terry Haggerty, your General Tire Specialist in Albany? If you need new tires, Terry Haggerty will be able to assess exactly which type of General Tire will assure you of maximum driving safety. There are 4 different types of General tires to choose from, you know, including the General Safety Jet that's built with 4 full plies of nylon cord for blowout protection, or the all-new General Dual 90 with Stratoseal, which seals punctures while you keep on driving. While you're at Terry Haggerty, check on the low cost of the brake relining and wheel alignment service. Put safety first. See Terry Haggerty, General Tire Incorporated, 3234 Clinton Avenue in Albany.
The Mets 3 and the Cubs 3 as we go to inning number 5, and Bud Harrelson will be up against Ferguson Jenkins. Bud singled to center, leading off the ball game. He was struck out in the 3rd, 1 hit and 2 times up. Well, if the weather would stay the way it is right now, we'd have a beautiful day for the doubleheader. Here on the near north side of Chicago right now, the overcast is broken up. The sun has painted the playing field. Wind blowing in favor of the right-hand batters from right across toward left. Now as Harrelson steps in, batting left-handed against Ferguson Jenkins. Third baseman Ron Santo moves in close against Bud Harrelson. Now the pitch on the way, a grounder hit down to first, an easy play for Ernie Banks. He takes it himself, 1 out. Bud Harrelson, in size, the smallest man on the squad, and when he goes up there hitting left-handed, he has the biggest bat. 36 inches long and 35 ounces. 1 out and nobody on. Ed Charles up. It was Ed who started the rally of the 4th inning when he singled to center. Came around to score on the long home run by Tommy Davis. Now the pitch on the way. Low and outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Foul ball back, no play. Now Jenkins looking in for his sign from Randy Hundley. The 1-1 delivery curve, low inside, 2 balls and a strike. The Mets rallied on 3 runs and 4 hits to tie the ball game up in their half of the 4th inning. They almost took the lead. Hawk Taylor did not miss a home run by too much. And it's under the knees, 3-1. Swing and a miss and a high hard one. Umpire Doug Harvey out now to dust off the plate. Full count on Ed Charles, 3-2. 1 out, nobody on. Top half of the 5th inning, and the game tied 3-3. Now the payoff pitch. Foul ball back into the crowd. No play. Yogi Berra coaching at first, and Salty Parker coaching at third. Cubs have the outfield rather deep and around toward left against right-hand batting Ed Charles. Here's the payoff pitch, and he pops it up down the first base line. Ernie Banks, looking through the sunglasses in fair territory, makes the catch. 2 down. 2 up and 2 set aside, both putouts going to Ernie Banks. Now Tommy Davis. In the opening game of this series, Tommy Davis hit a home run off Ray Culp. In yesterday's game, he hit a home run off Bill Hands. And in today's game, he has homered off Ferguson Jenkins. The home run yesterday did not count when the game was washed out in the 4th inning. And it's a strike on the inside corner. Had the game not been rained out yesterday, Tommy would have 3 consecutive games in which he had homered. Tommy now has 8 home runs and 26 RBIs. Foul ball off the fist, back into the crowd, no play. Tommy hitting .313, and he's riding a 10-game hit streak. 2 strike delivery, foul ball back, no play. Yesterday was a typical example of the type of hitter that Tommy Davis is. His first time up, he hit a line drive home run to left field into the bleachers. His second time up, he hit a line drive double down the right field line. So Tommy lost a homer and 2 RBIs to the rain yesterday. 2 strike delivery, swing and a miss, he got it. This time Jenkins comes back with a fast-breaking curveball to notch his 5th strikeout and retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left on. So we've come halfway in the first game, and at the end of 4.5, the Mets 3 and the Chicago Cubs 3. Now here's a word from Rheingold.
Look, you can't pull the wool over their eyes. You can't kid the public around here. You can't put one over on these guys. They'll toss you right out on your ear. In this town, either you have it or you don't. Either you're a pro or you won't get very far. Hey!
There are 302 beers trying to make it in New York, from all over. But only one beer has made it to the top. The rich, dry lager, Rheingold. In this town, either you have it or you don't.
In this town, either you have it or you don't. Either you're a pro or you won't get very far. Either you have it or you don't.
Rheingold.
Last of the 5th inning at Wrigley Field, Chicago tied 3-3 with New York. We'll have Paul Popovich, the leadoff batter and shortstop, leading off against relief pitcher Dick Selma. Dick, in relief, has worked 2 innings, allowed no runs, 1 hit. Majority of his relief stints, while at Jacksonville, were of the 2-inning variety. He was being used by manager Bill Verdon as the late-inning fireman. Ed Charles in close at third against Paul Popovich. Now the pitch on the way. Way inside, it hit him, and he goes to first base. Dick Selma comes down off the mound to question Doug Harvey about whether that pitch hit the batter or not. So now Selma's work is cut out for him. The leadoff batter is on, and the batter is Norm Gigon. This is a lively Cub crowd here on the near north side of Chicago. The first time in a long time the Cub fans have really had something to cheer for. Now Selma off the stretch. The bunt play is on. He bunts it in the air, and Selma lets the ball drop. Now throws to first base, and everybody's tagged. The base belongs to the man who was on, Paul Popovich. They haven't executed a force play yet. Wes Westrom coming out now to argue with umpire Johnny Kibler. Selma could have caught the ball, but he was hoping that Gigon wouldn't run it out, and he could throw to first and get Gigon and have a play at second base. But Popovich wisely held his ground. The bag belonged to him. So it's 1 out and 1 on, and Billy Williams coming up. Heady base running on the part of Popovich. He was not to be fooled. Wes Westrom not completely satisfied, still discussing the play with Johnny Kibler. To scoring the ball game, the play will go 1-3. Cranepool stepped on the bag. That took the force play off. Popovich, no more than a stride off the bag, got back. Had the runner been tagged and then he stepped on first, he could have had 2. Whether he had time to do that remains to be seen. Swing and a miss by Billy Williams. 1 out and 1 on, last of inning number 5. Billy Williams has reached on a walk and bounced out, nothing for 1. Billy hitting .314 with 10 home runs and 31 runs batted in. Lifetime .293 hitter after 8 big league campaigns. Mets play him deep in the outfield, almost straight away. And the pitch on the way inside, just off the ribs. That one almost nicked him. And the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Dick Selma up against the heavy artillery of the Cub attack here on the last of inning number 5. Now a throw to first. It is not in time. Selma, lean, wiry, hard-throwing right-hander from Fresno, California. The 1-1 pitch. Off the outside corner, 2-1. Cub captain Ron Santo waiting on deck. Now Paul Popovich leading off first base. The 2-1 delivery. Foul ball hit back over the press box. No play. The count is 2-2. Hawk Taylor crossed behind the plate. Now sets up the target. The 2-2 delivery. A line drive caught by Buchek. A great play. Go to first. Out. Double play. Magnificent play by Jerry Buchek. Diving to his left. He made the glove hand stab of a hard-hit line drive by Billy Williams. And hit the ball to Cranepool in time to double up Popovich. There's a beautiful play on the part of Jerry Buchek. Side retired. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left. And at the end of 5, it's the New York Mets 3, the Chicago Cubs 3. Well, we're delighted to learn that Whitey Ford will be among the many great baseball performers for the annual Old Timers event at Shea Stadium this year, the night of July the 8th, as the New York Mets play the Atlanta Braves. In a sense, Whitey will be making his pitching comeback on that night. Whitey, the all-time Yankee pitching favorite on the field and certainly one of the most popular players the Yankees have ever had and best liked. We'll be on hand to pay tribute to George Weiss. George was the farm director of the New York Yankees when he signed Whitey, then a youngster from Astoria, New York. Whitey, of course, went on to win 236 ball games, record 45 shutouts, strike out over 1,000. Lifetime, 498 appearances. Whitey put together one of the greatest careers of any pitcher in the history of the game, and it's just a question of time until 5 years' time, as a matter of fact, until Whitey, I'm sure, will be enshrined at Cooperstown in baseball's Hall of Fame. This year, Little Poison Lloyd Weiner will be enshrined at the Hall of Fame, and Lloyd will be at Shea Stadium for the Old Timers Night event on July the 8th. So will Joe McCarthy, one of the greatest managers the game has ever known, and Hall of Fame backstopper Bill Dickey. Whitey's former teammate, old reliable Tommy Hendrick, will be on hand. There will be many invited guests, great stars of the past, as well as the 1960 Yankee team coming back to play the original Met team, the 1962 team. That was the last Yankee team directed by George Weiss, and the first New York Mets team. It'll be a fun night, no doubt about it, at Shea. It's a Saturday night affair on the 8th of July, the Old Timers event, and tickets are on sale now, so circle your calendar, July the 8th, and plan to be on all the front at Shea that night. Now we go to the sixth inning. The game is tied 3-3, and Ron Swoboda is up against Ferguson Jenkins. Ron has bounced to short and bounced to third, 0-2. Here's the windup by Fergie. Ron tries to bunt, misses, strike one. He tried to conceal his intentions and drop one down the third baseline, trying to catch Ron Sano playing back against his power. Now Jenkins winds the pitch to Ron. Hit foul high into the air down the right field line, veering off over into the crowd. So now Jenkins with a 2-strike advantage on Ron Swoboda. New York, 3 runs, 5 hits, 3 left on. Chicago, 3 runs, 6 hits, they've had 3 left on. Fisher, the Mets starter, is off the hook. The Mets trailing 3-0, rallied to tie the game in the fourth. And a swing and a miss, he struck him out. And Jenkins now has struck out 6. Right here, we pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
This is WJRZ Hackensack, the radio voice of the New York Mets.
Bob Murphy with Lindsey Nelson and Ralph Kiner. From Wrigley Field in Chicago, Eddie Kranepool is up. Eddie has 1 for 2. A swing and a miss on a breaking ball, strike 1. Eddie batting .316. Singled to right field and later scored in the fourth inning after bouncing out his first time up. Fly ball hit high in the air to center field. Adolfo Phillips, a couple of steps to his glove side, is under it, and he puts it away for the out. And Jenkins now has settled to retire 6 straight hitters after the Mets rallied to score 3 runs on 4 hits. The name of the game when you're trying to score runs is to string those hits together. Yesterday, the Mets had 4 hits in a row to go out in front, only to have the game washed out. They bunched 4 hits in the fourth inning of this game to come from behind and tie it up. Jerry Buchek is up. Jerry has reached on a walk and fouled out. Foul tip, strike 1. Jerry made a tremendous play on Billy Williams' line drive to double up Paul Popovich and retire the side in the last half of the 5th inning. And he pops this one high into the air and foul ground outside third. Sano coming over near the field boxes, and he makes the catch. And Jenkins, for the second straight inning, gets the side 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left. And at the end of 5.5 innings, the Chicago Cubs 3 and the New York Mets 3.
Whether you're buying your first or 10th car, it's time you become a smart car buyer and join the ranks of the thousands of satisfied customers who shop Armory Garage, Central at Colvin, Albany. Here are the 3 basic rules for the smart car buyer. Select a model you want, and then 1, compare quality. Armory Garage boasts the largest selection of quality-tested late-model used cars in the area. 2, compare service. Armory's expert mechanics are qualified to service all the cars on the Armory lot. 3, compare price. Armory's tremendous volume assures you more for your car buying dollar. Be a wise car buyer. Drive into Armory Garage and talk over your used car needs with sales manager Art Neat. Let him introduce you to Armory's easy terms. You can buy, sign, and pay at Armory home of 101 time payment plans. Your credit is wealth at Armory. Follow the wise car buyer to Armory Garage, Central at Colvin, Albany.
Last of the sixth inning, Ron Santo, Ernie Banks, and Randy Hundley come up against Dick Selma. Santo singled to center his first time up, grounded out to second, his second trip. Selma winds. Here's the pitch. A swing and a miss on a fastball. That's the fastest pitch Selma has thrown. He blew that one by him. Ernie Banks waiting on deck. Now Selma sighting in on his target. The pitch to Santo, a swing and a miss, strike two. The Houston Astros are leading Cincinnati 5-3 with the Reds hitting in the last of the sixth inning in the first game of a doubleheader. Don Pavletic has homered in the last of the sixth off Mike Cuellar. Jerry Arrigo, 5-2 on the year, is pitching in relief of Milt Pappas. Dodgers 2 and the Cardinals 1. They've played an inning and a half at St. Louis in the opener. Bill Singer pitching against Ray Washburn. Giants nothing, Braves nothing. They've gone 2.5. Marichal against LeMaster. Phillies are having a big day at Forbes Field. They lead the Pirates 8-0 at the end of 3.5. Now Selma with a two-strike count. The pitch to Santo, inside and high, 1-2. Pizarro started that game for the Pirates, Woody Fryman, and then Vern Law. Santo, right-hand hitter with real good power waiting. The pitch by Selma, fly ball hit to right field. Hustling out goes Buchek in short right. He makes the catch. Now Ernie Banks. Ernie has 2 for 2. He has single to left and single to center. His base hit in the last of the ninth won the opening game of this series. Banks with 2 for 2 has raised his batting average to .310. In the American League, it's Washington 3, the Red Sox 2. They've played 6.5 in the opener of 2 at Fenway Park. They're still delayed by rain, Baltimore at Minnesota doubleheader. The pitch by Dick Selma is fouled back toward the crowd and out of play. White Sox 2, the Yankees 1 after 5.5 in the first game at Yankee Stadium. Old Sarge Hoyt Wilhelm is now on for O'Toole in the sixth inning, and Stottlemyre is the Yankee pitcher. Cleveland 2, Kansas City 1. They played 1 inning in the first game at Kansas City. Luis Tion against Diego Segui. Tigers and Angels not yet underway on the West Coast. Hawk Taylor out to talk with Dick Selma. Selma pitching in relief of starter Jack Fisher. And for Dick Selma, this is his third inning on the mound. Banks the hitter with Hundley on deck. And the pitch by Selma hit foul down the third baseline. He golfed an inside pitch that was down around the ankles and pulled it foul. Banks feet close together, deep in the batter's box. Foul ball. He just got a piece of it, and the count stays strike 2. Tuesday night, when Dave Bristol leads league-leading Cincinnati into Shea, his pitchers in the Twine-Atter, which starts at 5 p.m., will be 19-year-old Gary Nolan who has won 4 and lost only 1. And left-hander Billy McCool. Billy has won 3 and lost 3. Mets with the infield and the outfield around toward left against Banks. The 2-strike pitch. He let up on it. It was inside and high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. We're in the home 6th inning, and the game is tied 3-3. Now Selma checks his battery mate, Hawk Taylor, for the sign. The slender right-hander winds and pitches. And again, he lets up on it. A changeup that misses, and the count is 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. Chicago repaying the visit next weekend at Shea with a 4-game series. Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and a doubleheader Sunday. Now the kick. Around comes the arm. A swing and a miss. He got him with a curveball. Selma has been getting his curveball over much better since coming back from Jacksonville than he had in his previous trials with the New York Mets. For Dick Selma, his 2nd strikeout since coming on in relief, and the batter coming up is Randy Hundley. Hundley has pulled the ball both times up down to Ed Charles. He has hit into a force play and been thrown out at first. Last year as a rookie, Randy Hundley had 19 home runs and knocked 63 runs in. And he caught an amazing number of games. He was in 149 ball games. It sweeps low and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Randy Hundley, as a rookie last year, hit more home runs than any Cub catcher since the days of Gabby Hartnett. Under the knees, ball 2. It's 2-0 on Hundley. The right fielder, Ted Savage, is waiting on deck. Now Selma behind on the batter, the 2-0 delivery. And a curve is over. Strike called on the outside corner. A good pitch by Dick Selma. And the count is 2-1. Wes Westrom will have Tom Seaver back ready for duty for that twilighter on Tuesday night at Shea. And that's good news for New York. Now the slider is outside, and the count goes to 3-1. So the 2 promising young pitchers go for New York on Tuesday night, and for the Reds, their 2 youngsters, Gary Nolan and Billy McCool. 3-1 pitch. Hit hard, a line drive in the left, a base hit. Randy Hundley is on as Tommy Davis plays the ball back in. That's the 2nd hit surrendered by Dick Selma. The 7th in the ball game for Chicago, and it brings up Savage, the right fielder. Ted Savage, right-hand batter, has been struck out and fouled out to the catcher, nothing for 2. The Mets 3 and the Cubs 3 were in the last of the 6th inning, first game of a twin bill. Now Eddie Cranepool will hold against the base runner, Randy Hundley. Here's the pitch on the way, a little bit high, ball 1. Adolfo Phillips, the center fielder, waiting on deck. Adolfo hit a 1-out home run back in the 2nd inning, his 8th home run of the year. Now Dick Selma studying the sign from Hawk Taylor. His pitch on the way. A fastball in the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Weather-wise, it's a beautiful day. The weatherman says it may not stay that way. Now Randy Hundley edging off first. Jerry Buchek shaded toward the middle against Ted Savage. And an off-speed pitch is inside. He had him lunging. The count goes to 2 balls and a strike on Ted Savage. Savage, after a big year in the Coast League last season, opened the year with the St. Louis Cardinals. They tried to send him back to the minor leagues when the cut-down date arrived. He balked at going, and so the Cardinals dealt him to Chicago. Now, as Selma takes too much time, Ted Savage steps back. Selma makes the 1-second stop. The pitch on the way. A drive hit hard to left field, a base hit. Tommy Davis grabs it on a hop. Hundley around second, holds there. And the Cubs are casting a menacing gesture. Runners on first and second, 2 down. And Adolfo Phillips coming up. Now Wes Westrom sends the sign to the bullpen. Don Shaw quickly starts to get ready. A crucial spot here with Phillips stepping in. The game tied 3-3. Runners on first and second. Adolfo hit a home run, his 8th of the year in the second. He was struck out in the 4th inning. As we mentioned earlier, Selma had been working 2 inning stints as the late inning fireman at Jacksonville. He is now in his 4th inning in this ball game. Here's the stretch by Selma and the pitch. Breaking ball, a strike. Good pitch by Dick Selma. Now the Mets have Ron Taylor and Don Shaw on call in the bullpen. The Cubs are threatening on back-to-back singles after 2 men were down. Selma up in pitching position, delivers, swing and a miss on a curveball, and the count is strike 2. Now Dick Selma with a 2-strike count on center fielder Adolfo Phillips. Tall, rangy, speedy right-hand batter. And time called as the ball gets loose in the bullpen. Now Adolfo wants Doug Harvey working the plate to examine the ball. There's no flaw, and it stays in play. Again, the infield and the outfield figuring the batter to pull the ball to left field as they move around. Buchek shaded way over toward the middle. Here's the pitch on the way. A fly ball hit high in the air to center field. It's playable. Leon Jones backpedaling. He's under it waiting. Makes the catch. The side is out. Side retired. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left on. At the end of 6, the New York Mets 3 and the Chicago Cubs 3.
Have you heard what's going on at Gulf service stations? It's Big Tire Days at Gulf. And one of the big tire values now being featured by Gulf dealers is the Gulf Cruisemaster tire. The Gulf Cruisemaster, the puncture-sealing tire that's super tough and super safe. The fine quality Gulf Cruisemaster costs only a few dollars more than ordinary tires. And remember, when you buy Gulf tires with a Gulf travel card, there's no down payment, no carrying charges, and months to pay. Big Tire Days are going on at Gulf. Get in on them.
We're going now to the seventh inning. First game of a doubleheader here at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Ferguson Jenkins started for the Chicago Cubs, still in the ball game, and he'll be pitching to Met catcher Hawk Taylor with the score tied 3-3. Taylor struck out his first time up today, and he doubled a drive and a run in the top of the fourth and came very close to a home run here at Wrigley Field from the foul pole out the left field fence about 50 feet. The wall is reset, and then it juts on out. Had he not pulled the ball a matter of about 10 feet, he'd had a home run. So Hawk Taylor is up for his third time. Right-hand batter facing right-hand pitcher Ferguson Jenkins. And the first pitch is in there for a called strike. Leon Jones is waiting on deck. In the second game here today, veteran left-hander Kurt Simmons will be going for the Chicago Cubs against Nick Wilhite, also a left-hander of the New York Mets. Here's a pitch low for a ball. Wilhite was obtained yesterday in a trade with the California Angels in exchange for pitcher Jack Hamilton. Wilhite arrived in Chicago last night. He's getting a start this afternoon. There's a swing and a high pop off the line at first. In foul territory, Ernie Banks is over calling, and he makes the catch. Hawk Taylor fouls out to first base. There's one away. That will bring up Cleon Jones. Grounded out pitch to first and walked so far. An intentional pass issued to him in the top of the fourth, with Taylor at second so that they could pitch to Dick Selma, who was on deck at the time. When you pull the tab on the Rheingold Chug-a-Mug, the top comes off with a hiss that sounds just like the good Rheingold flavor inside. 6 12-ounce mugs to the carton, and you'll find them in the Chug-a-Mug special display at your local stores in New York and New Jersey. Pitch outside, ball one. Selma's kneeling in the on-deck circle. Now the 1-0 pitch. And it's zipped in for a called strike. 1-1 to Cleon Jones. Backside of the batter's box, gets a handful of dirt, and now is settling himself back in. The 1-1 offering, swung out, hit on the ground to short. Taken there by Popovich, sidearmed over to first to Banks in time to get Jones short to first. 2 away, and Dick Selma's the batter. Been up one time and struck out. Yesterday, the umpires waited an hour and 14 minutes before calling the game because of rain. Here is a pitch. That is low for a ball. And it just kept right on raining. And raining. And raining. A total of almost 5 inches fell in downtown Chicago, causing flooding conditions of all sorts. Here's a 1-0 pitch. And it's in for a called strike, 1-1. There were tornado warnings yesterday, and several funnels were sighted in the greater Chicago area, but none apparently touched down. Here's the 1-1 pitch. And it's in for a called strike, 1-2.
Did you ever get out of the hotel, Hunty? I saw you thinking about braving the elements there last night.
I was trying to get out to dinner, Ralph, but I wasn't really in favor of walking out in that cloudburst. Here's a 1-2 pitch. It's low for a ball. 2-2. I finally made it 1 block. All I could risk, really.
That was pretty good. You might have had to swim back.
What was that kind of an afternoon and night in Chicago? And as you might guess, cabs were a little hard to come by about that time.
Fellow with the rowboat concession could have made some money.
Well, he could have done well around town last night. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And it's high for a ball. It's out full at 3-2. And Dick Selma now walks over, asks for the pine tar rag. Dick Selma A moment ago came up with a very heady play on the bunt by Gigon when he purposely let it drop and then threw over to first with the hope that Craneville would tag Popovich and then step on the bag for a double play. But Ed played it the other way. He stepped on the bag first, which took off the play on Popovich and allowed him to remain safe at first base. Here's a payoff pitch, swung on it in the air to right field. Ted Savage moves over near the line, on over, and makes the catch. So the side is retired in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left. And in the middle of the seventh, the score is the Mets 3 and the Cubs 3.
If the poet is right, and beauty is truth, and truth is beauty, then litter is a lie in every sense of the word, ugly and unnatural. For well over 400 years, this country has been a source of awesome beauty to men of all nations, with its sun-soaked beaches, peaceful parks, flowing countrysides, towering cities, and its brilliant chain of magnificent roads and waterways. The United States has long reigned supreme to both tourist and settler as a source of truth and beauty. But litter conceals the truth, hides the beauty, shades the sun, stagnates the water, steals millions in tax dollars, beckons the bug and the rat, and ignores health and safety. Every litter bit serves as your lie to your country and yourself. Use the litter basket. Carry a litter bag in your car or boat. Keep America truly beautiful.
In the bottom half of the seventh inning now, Ferguson Jenkins will be coming up for the Chicago Cubs to face right-hander Dick Selma. Well, we have a few banners being paraded through the stands, Cub banners. And the tradition established by Met fans in New York, here's one that says, "Go get 'em, Cubs." That's from Aurora, and it has a few cartoon characters on it. And here's one that says, "Hi, Jack." And then there is a brick house drawn onto it. That would be the Cub telecaster, Jack Brickhouse. Now the pitch to Jenkins. He swings and fouls it back out of play. It's strike one.
The roof on that house has a little more hair on it than his S.
Yes, sir. That roof's in a little better shape than Jack's, I'm afraid. Was a time when Jack did baseball in New York. 1946, I think it was. He did Giant games in New York. Jenkins now steps back out of the batter's box, a little tired of waiting. Comes back in. Score is tied here, 3-3. Bottom of the seventh. Selma's pitch is high, and it's 1-1. Jack Fisher started for the Mets, was charged with the 3 runs that the Cubs scored, but is off the hook statistically since the Mets have come back to tie. Here's a swing and a high pop toward first. Craneville retreats. He's near the foul line. Makes the catch in fair territory. One away. Now Paul Popovich, the shortstop. He's been on base 3 consecutive times. He singled, he doubled, and he was hit by a pitch ball. Left-hand batting shortstop. Playing this first game today in place of Don Kessinger. Swinging a ground ball toward first, and Craneville makes the grab. It's a foul ball. Umpire John Kibler at first, making the call, foul ball. So Popovich comes back with a count of strike one. Norm Gigon waving bats around on deck. Strike one pitch, and it's outside for a ball. It's 1-1. Curveball's it in the air to left field. It's sending Tommy Davis way back. He's at the warning track, and he pulls it out of the ivy for the out. Tommy Davis started ducking his head toward the ivy covered wall, swung the glove around, and pulled it out for the out. 2 away. A circus catch by Tommy Davis out in left. We pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
The Leon Kelly Show is part of the Big Bright Sound, weekdays 6:35 until 12 midnight on WGY Schenectady.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Ralph Kiner and Bob Murphy at Wrigley Field in Chicago. 2 out for the Cubs here in the 7th, and Norm Gigon's the batter. Selma's pitch, low and away for a ball. Now Gigon asked that umpire Doug Harvey examine the ball. He does, and he takes it out of play. This will be a 1-0 pitch. Outside, 2-0. Selma reading the sign of catcher Hawk Taylor. Two-0 delivery. Foul back and out of play. So it's 2-1. The end of this half inning will bring you up to date on all the scores of other games around the major leagues. And there's a lot of baseball action today. Here's 2-1 pitch. Low. Selma goes behind 3-1 now to Gigon. Slim Beckert, the regular second baseman for the Cubs, has gone for 2 weeks duty with the Army Reserve, and Gigon is filling in for him during his absence. 3-1 delivery. Swung on and missed. Gigon took a rip at the fastball. It's out full at 3-2. Nobody on base with 2 away. Payoff pitch, swung on and lined into left field for a base hit. Taken by Tommy Davis and brought back. A 3-2 pitch, ripped into left. So Billy Williams is the batter now. Walk, grounded out and lined into a double play. And we're getting a little action down in the Met bullpen. Ron Taylor's the right-hander, Don Shaw the left-hander, getting up to throw. Cubs have a base runner with 2 men out. Score tied, 3-3. First game of a doubleheader. Now Cranepool calls time and goes over to the mound to have a word with Dick Selma. Hawk Taylor wants to join that conference and does. Cranepool has gone back to first, but Hawk Taylor continues talking to Selma, and now umpire Doug Harvey joins them to break it up. Billy Williams, a left-hand batter, stepping in. Arm Gigon takes his lead at first with 2 away. Here's the pitch low and away, pops out of the glove of Hawk Taylor, keeps it in front of him. There's no advance. 1-0 to Billy Williams. Ron Santo on deck. Now Hawk Taylor again calls time and goes to the mound. Umpire Doug Harvey goes out there, and here comes manager Wes Westermont now. And you'd have to guess he's going to go to his left-hander, Don Shaw, right here. Westrom walking out across the infield grass and arrives at the mound. He took a long look at his bullpen as he went out there. Now Westrom turns, looks again out toward his dugout and toward his bullpen, and he was going to go to the bullpen now. That'll be all for Dick Selma. It's the young left-hander, Don Shaw, who's coming in. So Selma worked 4 2/3. But she allowed no runs, 4 hits. Struck out 2 and walked none. Don Shaw is coming on to take over the pitching duties. Well, since we have so much action, we're going to do the National League now, and then at the end of the inning, we'll do the American League. To bring you up to date on all the scores, Don Shaw will be warming up here. In the National League at Cincinnati, the league-leading Reds are playing the Houston Astros a doubleheader, and at the end of 7 innings of the first game, it is now Houston 7 and the Cincinnati Reds 4. Mike Cuellar's going for Houston. Bill Pappas started for Cincinnati. Jerry Arrigo in the 5th. Don Nottebart in the 7th. Bob Aspromani homing in the 6th with 1 on for Houston, and Don Pavletic homing in the 6th with nobody on for Cincinnati. In the National League at St. Louis, at the end of 4 innings, the Dodgers 2 and the Cardinals 1, and that's the first game of a doubleheader. Bill Singer for the Dodgers and Ray Washburn for the St. Louis Cardinals. A single game at Atlanta Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia this afternoon, and at the end of 4 innings, the Atlanta Braves 1 and the San Francisco Giants nothing. Juan Marichal trying for his 10th win of the season. He's 9 and 4. Denville LeMaster trying for his 7th. He's 6 and 1. Philippe Ballou hit his 6th home run of the season in the 3rd with nobody on to give Atlanta that 1-0 lead. And at Forbes Field in Pittsburgh, the Phillies scored 6 runs in the top half of the first inning to get Juan Pizarro out of the ballgame. He was relieved by Woody Fryman. Now at the end of 6 innings, the Phillies are leading by a score of 11-1. Jim Bunning has been in all the way for the Phils. Fryman gave way to Vernon Law in the 3rd inning. Oliver Homan in the 6th with 1 man on. That was for the Philadelphia Phillies. Don Shaw on the mound for the New York Mets now. Making his 19th appearance of this season. The count to Billy Williams at the plate is 1-0. There are 2 Cubs out, and Norm Gigung is runner at first. There's a pitch low and away for a ball. Don Shaw has a record of 2 wins and 2 losses. Last time out against the Pirates, he worked an inning, allowed no runs, no hits. Shaw again off the stretch. Curveball is in there for a called strike. It's 2-1. Score is tied 3-3 with the Cubs batting in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Become a little bit more cloudy and overcast in the last few minutes here at Wrigley Field. Here's a swing and a miss. 2-2 now to Billy Williams. Doug Harvey comes around to brush off the plate. Rainpool's holding against the runner Gigung at first. 2-2 offering. Low and away, and the count is out full at 3-2 to Williams. It means that Norm Gigung at first base will be moving on the pitch. Joey Malfitano, the coach down there, comes over to remind him of that. Williams steps back out of the batter's box. Says a word to umpire Doug Harvey. Now Williams is back in and waiting. Don Shaw takes the sign from Hawk Taylor. Gigung is running. Here's the payoff pitch. Hit in the air to short right field. A long run for Swoboda. He can't get it, but Buchek can. Buchek went out and made the catch going away for the out that retires the side. A hit. No errors and 1 left. At the end of 7 full innings, the score is The Mets 3 and the Cubs 3. And now to catch us up on those American League scores, here's Ralph Kiner.
Okay, Lindsay, at the end of 8 innings of play, the Boston Red Sox are now leading the Washington Senators by a score of 4-3. Red Sox scoring a run in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Pretty is now pitching for Washington, and Wyatt is now pitching for the Boston Red Sox. Home runs by Casanova and Frank Howard. That is the first of a scheduled doubleheader. In the first game of a scheduled doubleheader, Baltimore at Minnesota, that game has been delayed because of rain. Chicago playing the Yankees 2, and at the end of 7, the White Sox 2, the Yankees 1. Wilhelm has gone in the ball game for the White Sox in the 6th inning. Stottlemyre started for the Yankees. Hamilton replaced him in the 7th, and now Womack is pitching in the 8th inning. Detroit is scheduled for a contest against the California Angels out on the coast, and at Kansas City at the end of 2, Cleveland 4, Kansas City 1. Louis Tiant 3-1 pitching for Cleveland, and Pierce has relieved Diego Segui in the 2nd inning for the Kansas City Athletics. So that brings us up to date on the American League scores. I'd like to remind you that Tuesday night, June the 13th, the Mets return home to take on the Cincinnati Reds in the twilight doubleheader. Game time will be at 5 o'clock. In tribute to Flag Day, which is the next day, the Mets are going to have some colorful ceremonies between games. Marching bands, color guards, all that sort of thing. Should be a fine day for baseball. A twilighter against the league leaders, the Cincinnati Reds, on June the 13th, next Tuesday night. Game time at 5 o'clock.
All right, Ralph Kiner, thank you very much. And it's the top of the batting order up for the Mets here in the 8th. Bud Harrelson to lead off. He's 1 for 3 in this game. Switch hitter batting left against the right-hander Ferguson Jenkins. Score tied 3-3. First game of a doubleheader. Suddenly Tuesday night, Met fans will have a chance to see the young pitching sensation of the Cincinnati Reds, Gary Nolan, who will start one of those games. Here's a swing and a drive to short, taken by Popovich for the out. A line drive to the shortstop, Paul Popovich, for the out. One away. Now here Charles is coming up. He's 1 for 3. Singled the center and later scored a run. In the top half of the 4th, he was on board when Tommy Davis clouded his 2-run homer in the 4th inning. The pitchers for Cincinnati Tuesday in the twilight doubleheader will be Nolan and Billy McCool. Here's a pitch low for a ball. Mets are going to pitch Tom Seaver, who has been something of a sensation himself, and Bill Dennehy. Swing and a miss. It's 1-1. Jenkins has struck out 6 and walked 2, one of them intentionally to this point in the game, and we're in the top half of the 8th inning. 1-1 delivery. It's hit on the ground to third, and it's taken there by Santo. He gets up close to first and inside. A fine fielding play by Ron Santo, who went to his left, was sort of on all fours there for a moment in the dust, but kicked up with the ball and made the throw to first in time. Now Tommy Davis. Davis is 1 for 3, had a 2-run homer in the 4th inning. Davis has a batting average of .321. He has hit safely in 10 consecutive games. He lost a home run statistically yesterday when he hit one in the 2nd inning, but it did not go into the record books because the game was rained out in the 4th. Home run hitters don't mind losing those, do they, Ralph?
Oh, that hurts. I lost one year that I really would have liked to have had. The year I hit 54 home runs, I lost one that would have given me 55.
And the National League record's 56.
That's right.
Here's a pitch low for a ball. 1-0.
Hit one off Johnny Same. The game is rained out in the 4th inning.
Oh, boy. Ferguson Jenkins taking just a moment now. We're getting ready to work the 1-0 pitch to Tommy Davis. And it's hit in the air to right field, and back there is Savage, and he makes the catch for the out. A run, so hit, so there is none left. In the middle of the 8th, the score is the Mets 3 and the Cubs 3.
Let Armory Garage Central at Colvin in Albany put your family on the road vacation bound in a top-quality tested used car. If you've been putting off that family trip because you're worried about the safety of your present car, drive into Armory Garage's used car lot and leave your worries behind. At Armory, you'll find hundreds of top-condition used cars, one just right for your family. Choose from sedans, hardtops, and wagons, road-tested and ready to go. Sales manager Art Neat will give you the green light on a payment plan tailor-made just for your vacation budget. He'll arrange for you to buy, sign, and pay at Armory, where the first payment won't be due until August. So get out those travel folders and road maps and make your first vacation stop, Armory Garage, Central at Colvin, Albany. And then head for your favorite vacation spot, trouble-free in a top-quality used car from Armory. Happy vacation.
Now the New York Mets have made a pitching change. Ron Taylor has come in to do the pitching as they brought Shaw in just specifically to pitch to the left-hand batter, Billy Williams. He got him out, and so now it is Ron Taylor who has come on to do the pitching for the New York Mets. Ron Santo, a right-hand batter, will be up to lead off. Score is tied, 3-3, and we're in the bottom half of the 8th inning. And as we go to the bottom half of the 8th, coming in for the play-by-play, Ralph Kiner.
Okay, Lindsay. Don Shaw going out after coming in to do the job on Billy Williams. Don has allowed no runs and only one hit in his last 8 relief appearances now, totaling 7 2/3 innings, going back to May 24th against the Dodgers in Shea Stadium. During that time, Shaw has struck out 8 and walked 4. He has done quite a job. Now it's in the hands of Ron Taylor, and the first pitch by Ron Taylor to Ron Santo is over a called strike. Santo has a base hit and a run batted in and 3 times up. It'll be Ron Santo, Ernie Banks, and Randy Huntley for Ron Taylor. Taylor making his 11th appearance, and his pitch back is outside. The count now, 1 ball, 1 strike. His last time out was in this series against Chicago. He was the losing pitcher. He worked 1 inning and gave up 4 hits, allowed 1 run. One ball, 1 strike, and the next delivery, line to right field, a base hit. And Ron Santo is on at first base as he holds there, and he represents the go-ahead run. And the batter coming up, Ernie Banks. Ernie has 2 hits and 3 times up, and he won the first game of the series on Friday afternoon. With Ron Taylor in the ball game, the Mets walked Billy Williams, loaded up the bases, and Ernie Banks hit Ron Taylor's pitch for a single that drove in the winning run, the Cubs winning by a score of 6-5. Now it's the first pitch to Banks. He squares around and bunts the ball. It's a foul ball down the first base side. Ball was in fair territory, and the catcher, Hawk Taylor, decided to let the ball go into foul territory, and the Mets pick up a strike. Santo back to first base. Ernie Banks back to the bag. 3-3 ball game. The Cubs have 10 hits. The Mets have 5. Mets haven't had a base hit in this ball game since the 4th inning when they scored their 3 runs. Ferguson Jenkins retiring 13 in a row. Now once again, Banks in the batter's box. Taylor sets up. And with Eddie Kranepool moving in, Taylor backs off the pitching rubber and time is called. Kranepool charging early from first base. Ed Charles not quite so anxious to get in against the right-hand batter, especially one with the power that Ernie Banks has at third base. 1 strike count. Taylor sets up again. And the pitch to Banks. He squares around. It's bunted out in front of the plate. A good bunt. Taylor will have to go to first. He throws there to Buchek covering. And Sano moves down to second base in scoring position. So the sacrifice pulled off by Ernie Banks. And now the batter, the catcher, Randy Hundley. Mets and Cubs tied 3-3. Hundley has a base hit and 3 times up. A right-hand batter. His average at 280. Now manager Wes Westrom is going out to the mound to decide whether or not they want to pitch to Randy Hundley. West back to the dugout. The decision has been made, and Hawk Taylor, who was also at the mound, comes back behind home plate. 1 man out. The tie-breaking run is at second base. We're in the bottom half of the 8th inning. And Hawk Taylor down to give out the sign. And the first pitch, swung on and missed. Foul tip, the ball off of the glove of Hawk Taylor. It's strike 1. Taylor evidently crossed up. Hawk Taylor, because Hawk has gone back out to the pitching mound. 1 strike count. Ron Taylor and Hawk Taylor, the battery for the Mets. Now Hawk back to give out the sign. Sano at second base with a short lead. Sano moves up. And Ron Taylor back to the plate. And the pitch is hit deep but foul down the left field line. Ball going out of play, and the count goes up to strike 2. Now, once again, Hawk Taylor out to the mound. And out in the bullpen, the Mets have some action going. Jack LeMahieu is starting to throw. Jack again available for pitching duty. He had been sidelined for some time with a groin injury. 2 strike count. Hawk Taylor back to give the sign. Ron Taylor looking in. Mets have their outfield deep. Infield back. And the 2 strike pitch. High fastball. The count at 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes. The batter is Randy Hundley. Now, once again, the signs go out. Sano with a bigger lead at second base, edging up. Buchek tries to get him back, and the pitch is a curveball outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2-2. Mets trying to defend against the Cubs here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. 1 man out. Score is tied 3-3. Sano single to right field was sacrificed down to second base by Ernie Banks. Now Hundley steps out of the batter's box. Play against time as Ron Taylor takes too much time. Now Taylor looks in for the signs. Hundley back in the batter's box. Taylor sets up. And the pitch to the plate at 2-2. A breaking ball low. It's ball 3. 3-2. The on-deck batter is Ted Savage. Right-hand batter. Ron Taylor, after getting a 2-strike count, now all the way out of 3-2, and they're going to put him on. Hawk Taylor singles out for the pitch out for ball 4, and that puts runners at first and second. And it brings up Ted Savage. Savage had a single his last time up. He's 1 for 3. Mets have their infield set for the double play, hoping to get the double play. Ron Taylor, a sinker ball pitcher. They were pitching to Randy Huntley, hoping to pick up a strikeout, and decided to give him first base to go for the double play after moving down to 3-2. Santo at second base with a short lead. He moves up. Huntley at first, and the first pitch to Savage is taken high. It's ball. Savage batting .225. 2 home runs, 10 runs batted in. He was acquired from the St. Louis Cardinals. Originally in the major leagues were the Philadelphia Phillies. Now time is called. The ball gets away in the bullpen. Jack LeMaive is warming up down there for the Mets. Starting pitcher in this game was Jack Fisher. He lasted 2. Dick Selma pitched 4 2/3, gave up no runs and 4 hits. Don Shaw bailed him out, pitching to 1 batter, Billy Williams. And now it's Ron Taylor. And Taylor, all set to go. The 1-0 pitch to Savage is hit to right field. Going to his left and coming hard is Ron Svoboda. He can't get to it. It drops in front of him. The throw goes to third base. It's in time, and the runner is out going in there. Huntley trying to go from first to third. Was Ron Santo with a tie-breaking run. So the Cubs have taken a 4-3 lead on the base hit by Ted Savage, his 11th run batted into the air. Savage staying at first base on the play over to third. And now the batter will be Adolfo Phillips. Phillips had a home run his first time up. He is 1 for 3. His home run is 8th this year. And the first pitch is popped up in foul territory out of play. 2 men out in the bottom half of the 8th. The Cubs scoring a run. They had picked up their previous runs in the first and second innings. Savage, a fast man at first base. 1 strike count, Ron Taylor. Checks at first, throws over there, but no play. Savage back very easily. Now Savage again off, draws a throw, this time offline. So there was no chance for a tag, but he was easily back. One strike count on Adolfo Phillips, a right-hand batter. And Taylor now to the plate. The pitch is hit hard by the third baseman in the left field. Savage goes to second, moves on to third. The throw comes in late. Behind him, Adolfo Phillips moves on down to second. So the Chicago Cubs picking up another base hit, Adolfo Phillips, moving Savage over to third, and when Tommy Davis threw over to third base, Savage went down to second on the throw. Runners now at second and third. Ferguson Jenkins is the batter, and a conference at the mound as Wes Westrom comes in to talk it over with Ron Taylor. Also there is Hawk Taylor, and the sign goes out, and we're going to have Jack LeMaive in the ball game. So 3 hits given up by Ron Taylor in 2/3 of an inning. A run across to break the tie and put the Cubs in front 4-3. And Taylor goes out with Jack LeMaive coming in. For Jack LeMaive, his 9th appearance this year, he has a record of 0-1. And while we wait for Jack to warm up, let's take a look at the scores. At the end of 8.5 innings, the Houston Astros 7, the Cincinnati Reds 4. Aspermani and Pavletic have hit home runs. Cuellar pitching for Houston. Osteen is now pitching for Cincinnati. Make that Austin. First of two at the end of 5.5 innings. The Dodgers 2, St. Louis 1. Singer against Washburn in the first of two games. At the end of 5, Atlanta 2, the Giants nothing. Marichal against LeMaster. A home run by Philippe Alou in that game in the third with no one on, his sixth. And at the end of 7.5 innings, Philadelphia out in front of the Pittsburgh Pirates. 14-1. Jim Bunning pitching for the Phillies. Mickelson now pitching for the Pirates. Pizarro started. Oliver a home run in the sixth with a man on for the Phillies. Over in the American League, at the conclusion of the first game of the doubleheader, Boston 4, Washington 3. Winning pitcher was Santiago. Losing pitcher was Baldwin. Casanova and Howard home runs. Baltimore and Minnesota delayed because of rain. They were scheduled for 2. At the end of 8, the White Sox 2, the Yankees 1. Wilhelm pitching now for the White Sox. O'Toole started. Womack now pitching for the Yankees. Stottlemyre started. Hamilton relieved him in the 7th. Detroit playing at California. The starting pitcher is Joe Sparma against Jim McLaughlin. At the end of 3, Cleveland 6, Kansas City 1. Keon against Pierce now. Segui started. May and Whitfield home run. And right here now, Ferguson Jenkins getting quite a hand. He has gone all the way on the mound for the Cubs. And he will be batting with runners at second and third. The Cubs in front by a score of 4-3 with a run here in the bottom half of the 8th. Jack LeMahieu was last out back on May 28th. He pulled a groin muscle, pitching against Atlanta. This is his 9th appearance. He is 0-1. Here comes a runner from third. He's trying to steal the pitch and the slide, and he is finished. Ted Savage stealing home. The second time he has done that this year. And the Cubs are leading by a score of 5-3, and the Mets have an argument going. Wes Westrom indicating that he did not believe the call. A head-first slide. Wes Westrom going back to the dugout. On the play, Adolfo Phillips moved over to third base, a double steal, and you got to watch him because he can steal home too. He stole home against the Dodgers. 5-3 ball game. That run goes against Ron Taylor. Adolfo Phillips now edging up. Crowd here yelling for him to go, but you have to do it by surprise. He's trying. Here's the pitch. And he is out at home. So Adolfo Phillips hurt at home plate after trying to steal home. Hawk Taylor made a great one-hand catch of a pitch that was over the head of the pitcher, Ferguson Jenkins, and then came back to block home plate. And Adolfo Phillips is now down on the ground at home plate. The inning over on the attempted steal. 2 runs in on 3 hits. No one left on base, and the score at the end of 8. The Chicago Cubs 5, the New York Mets 3.
Somehow, Joe, the boss isn't happy these days. He retires soon, but it isn't that. He's got everything. Money, a beautiful wife, 2 sons. You know what? He keeps looking at that college catalog. What's all that about?
I don't know. I'm just a bookkeeper. You're his secretary. You ought to know. He's a college graduate, isn't he?
Say now, you've got it. He isn't. I bet he wants to get a degree, the one he started to get when he was young. Probably is worried it'll take too long.
Well, I've got an idea for him. Ever hear of the New York State College proficiency exams? They save you time. You don't have to take courses and things you know. You just pass exams. Then most colleges grant credit.
Hey, Joe, that's a swell idea. Where do you get information on the program?
From the State Education Department. All you do is write College Proficiency, State Education Department, Albany.
Marvelous. Joe, pass me the boss's humidor.
What?
I just want to leave him a note.
There are 50 states.
Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California.
There are 50
Colorado,
states in the Union.
Connecticut,
Each one has
Delaware,
people to meet,
Florida,
growing cities to see,
Georgia,
natural beauty to explore,
Idaho,
and a rich
Illinois,
history to feel.
Indiana.
And one thing more. The 50 states add up to America. How many of the 50 have you seen? This year, discover America.
The cheer in the background for Adolfo Phillips as he goes out to his center field position. He was stunned at home plate on the attempted steal, but now he is going out to center field, and he is all right. The Mets are batting in the top of the ninth inning. They are trailing by a score of 5-3. The Cubs breaking the tie, scoring 2 runs in the bottom half of the eighth. And the leadoff batter for the Mets will be Ron Swoboda. He'll be followed by Eddie Kranepool and Jerry Buchek. Right now, we'll pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
This is WGY, a General Electric Broadcasting Company station, Schenectady.
Ralph Kiner, along with Lindsey Nelson and Bob Murphy from Wrigley Field in Chicago, the first game of the doubleheader. Cubs have made a change now. Don Kessinger has gone in the ball game at shortstop, and Paul Popovich, who was playing shortstop, has moved over to second base. Norm Gigon, who was playing at second base, has gone out of the ball game. Ron Swoboda stepping in the batter's box. He is 0 for 3. On the mound for the Cubs, Ferguson Jenkins. He has pitched a superb ball game. He has given up only 5 hits. The Mets got 3 runs and 4 hits in the fourth. Since then, they have not picked up a base hit. And Ferguson Jenkins has retired 13 batters in a row. Ron is 0 for 3, and the first pitch is taken, a called strike. Jenkins checks his outfield, also takes a look at the scoreboard. Now he looks back in. He has struck out 6 batters, and the pitch back is fouled back. Strike 2. Jenkins has walked 2. One of the walks intentional in the fourth inning to Cleon Jones to get to Dick Selma. At that time, there were 2 men on, and Selma struck out to end the Met rally. Mets sending 8 men to the plate in the fourth inning, scoring 3 runs and 4 hits. The big hit, a 2-run home run by Tommy Davis. Tommy getting his 8th home run and also keeping his consecutive streak alive. He has now hit in 10 consecutive ball games. Now time is in, and the next pitch back is over the outside corner. Strike 3. Seventh strikeout for Jenkins, and now with 1 out in the top of the ninth, the Mets trailing 5-3. The batter will be Eddie Kranepool. Eddie had a single in the fourth inning to drive in, to actually not drive in, but to set it up for him to score the Mets' 3rd run in the game. Dick Raditz is now throwing in the bullpen for Chicago. He was the winning pitcher in the first game of the series. The first pitch back. It's up high, ball 1. It was his first National League win since coming to the Cubs from Cleveland, and it was his first win since September 1965. Now the next pitch, it's over, a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. One ball, 1 strike. Jenkins now back again, and Kranepool hits a high pop-up on the third base side in foul territory. Room for Ron Santo, and he makes the catch. Mets now down to their last out. They're trailing by 2 runs, and the batter is Jerry Buchek. Man behind him, Hawk Taylor, so Jerry has to get on for the Mets to stay in the ball game. 2 men away. Top of the ninth. Buchek has walked and has fouled out. On the first pitch is taken in there for a called strike. Buchek trying to work him on out to get on base with a base on balls. But Jenkins picking up a strike. Now the right-hander back again. The pitch is grounded out to third. A one-hopper for Ron Sano. The throw to first base, and the Cubs win it. Ferguson Jenkins picking up his 8th win, a 1-2-3 inning. He had retired his last 16 batters. And the final score of the ball game, the Cubs 5, the Mets 3. And now here's a word from Rheingold.
Look, you can't pull the wool over their eyes. You can't kid the public around here. You can't put one over on these guys. They'll cut you right out on your ear. In this town, either you have it or you don't. Either you're a pro or you won't get very far. Hey!
There are 302 beers trying to make it in New York, from all over. But only one beer has made it to the top. The rich, dry lager, Rheingold. In this town, either you have it or you don't.
In this town, either you have it or you don't. Either you're a pro or you won't get very far. Either you have it or you don't.
Rheingold.
Well, the Chicago Cubs got out in front of this ball game in the first inning when they scored 2 runs on 3 hits. They added 1 more run in the second on a home run by Adolfo Phillips to make it a 3-0 ball game. Ferguson Jenkins, the starting pitcher for the Cubs, he went all the way. The starting pitcher for the Mets was Jack Fisher. He worked 2 innings and was charged with the 3 runs and 5 hits while he was in the ball game. Dick Selma then came in the ball game for the Mets in the 3rd inning, and Dick held the Chicago Cubs in bay all the way that he was in with some help from Don Shaw. Selma went 4 2/3 innings, gave up no runs, allowed 4 hits. He struck out 2 and walked none. Don Shaw came in to pitch with a count 1 ball and no strikes to Billy Williams in the 7th inning with Norm Geegan on at first base. And Don picked up an out on a pop fly to second base, a fine play in the ball, incidentally, by Jerry Buchek. In the 9th inning, or the bottom half of the 8th inning, pardon me, the Cubs came up and Ron Taylor was in the ball game. Manager Wes Westrom making the switch to the right-hand pitcher after Don Shaw had done the job on the left-hand batter, Billy Williams. Don, a left-hand pitcher. Taylor gave up a base hit to Ron Sano with the score at 3-3. Ernie Banks then sacrificed, putting Sano down to second base. Randy Huntley was then walked. It turned out to be an intentional pass. The Mets pitched to him till they got the count down to 3-2 and put him on. That put runners at first and second base. Ted Savage then came through with a base hit to right field, a looping fly ball that dropped in front of Ron Swoboda. Ron had no chance to throw out Ron Sano, who scored from second base, so he took the other option and went to third base and threw out the runner Randy Huntley at third on a fine play. On the play, Savage had to stay at first base. Then Adolfo Phillips singled to left field. Savage, a fast man, went all the way over to third and drew a throw, and when the throw went toward third base, Adolfo Phillips went on down to second. That put runners at second and third base, with the batter being Ferguson Jenkins. On the very first pitch, Ted Savage broke from third base and stole home. An argument was on the play, but to no avail. That gave the Chicago Cubs their 5th run. Then with Adolfo Phillips moving over to third on the double steal, he tried to steal home, but he was thrown out and slightly injured on the play. But the 2 runs in the 8th inning gave the Cubs enough runs to win the ball game by a score of 5-3. Winning pitcher was Ferguson Jenkins, his record now 8-3. And the losing pitcher was Ron Taylor, his record 0-2. And Ron was the losing pitcher on Friday afternoon when the Mets lost the first game of this series to the Chicago